What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys for being so patient. I appreciate you guys. We were having some technical difficulties, but we are on now. We have a big panel tonight. We are going to be discussing Ready to Love Season 8, which is Dallas. And this is episode number 2 that we're going to be discussing. So it's a lot to unpack. The chat has already been live for the last 30 minutes. Shout out to my soulmates. Love you guys so much. If you have anything to say, definitely put it in the chat, because I do put some of the comments on the screen, and sometimes we do discuss those as well. Anyway, other than that, y'all know the routine. I'm gonna go around the room, have everyone introduce themselves, where you can find them on their social medias, and pretty much if they're working on any projects, and then we will get started.
What's up, everybody? Tyrone E. Wilson. You can find me at TyWilson21 everywhere. Always a pleasure being on the panel. I make videos and content about my life's adventures. I'm getting back into my editing groove. I just released another video about an hour ago, so check it out. Let me know what you think. All right, let's get it.
Sorry about that. Good evening, everyone. Crystal Lynetta on YouTube, on Instagram. I am doing my channel on crime dramas. I'm also doing Ready to Love and reality shows, but I'm also revamping things because of the strike, because of the writer's strike and SAG strike. So stay tuned for a lot more coming, because I am a writer, so I have to adhere to certain things.
Stacey B.
Hey everybody, Stacey B, Ready to Love Season 4. Y'all know if I don't do nothing, I'm gonna be a little bit late, but today I was on time, baby. I'm ready to chop it up, because y'all, really, this episode had my nerves bad. And that's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna pass it on over to 4-Button Kojo. What's up, dog?
Hey guys, it's Kojo, Little Black Book 91. I am a YouTuber, and I am your boyfriend and husband's worst nightmare. Just kidding. But yes, I'm here to have a good time and hopefully have, some great insights and thoughts as well. I can see my ex-girlfriends on the panel as well, so shout out to her as well. They know who they are.
Oh, we're getting A-Rab money. We're getting A-Rab money. We're getting A-Rab money. What's up, YouTube world? It's Prince Ishmael, formerly known as It's J Dub. I was on my way to Detroit and ended up on a flight to Dubai. I got a whole new look when I came out the airport. So we here, we doing our thing. This is what dedication look like. This is what dedication look. I don't have no power in the house, so we in the car. And this is just a tribute to Sabrina, to the Dub fam, and everybody else. So y'all know I do YouTube videos for all reality shows, and I'm here. I'm here, and we doing it. And this is cap. It's still cap. Even though this ain't cap, this is still cap. So I'm gonna go ahead and let P.O. get it. Hold up, I ain't done yet. I thought I was done yet. I thought I was done yet. Can you hear me? P.O., you took too long. You took too long. And I'm gonna just let y'all know I'm gonna have to reintroduce myself. I introduced myself the last panel, but for those who check out my videos, y'all know your boy J Dub is going through a bit of transition. As you see, I'm going through a transition. So you're gonna hear and see a different look from me. So y'all thought I was giving it to you and letting it go before. Oh, you ain't seen nothing yet. Go ahead, Juggernaut.
Hi, everybody. I'm Paul, and you can find me at 100 Sightings on Instagram. That's where I'll be if you ever want to hang out or just see a cool dude. See you there.
Hi, everyone. I'm Courtney. Ready to Love cast season. I thought we were 4. Ty, I guess we're 5. We're 4. Okay, we're 4. All right. Ready to Love season 4. I was with Sabrina and Ty Up there, over there. What am I doing? Corporate life, being a bomb ass mom, working out all the time, trying to put 10 or 15 pounds on more. So, just doing my thing. I'm outside. Y'all know your favorite girlfriend. She's back.
Woo woo. All right, guys. It is a lot to unpack. I don't even know where to begin. I do know, and we're going to go ahead and start because, all right, we start this episode off with the cliffhanger from last week, pretty much. Brandon and Habibi are on the bottom, and Brandon was eliminated, unfortunately. Tommy tells them pretty much that they are going to be going to brunch tomorrow, and yeah, they're gonna be going to brunch. So let's just dive right into that. Do y'all feel like that Brandon was the right choice, or should it have been Habibi, or should it have been both? I don't know. What are y'all thoughts on this?
Well, as you can see, you know what the right choice is. We going with Habibi. Habibi is good for TV, so that's the only reason he stayed. But he made everyone regret that they kept him on. I mean, not only people on the show, but the viewers. This was probably one of the most cringiest episodes in Ready to Love history. It was almost like they were filing immediate lawsuits for them things that he was saying and doing. It was just absolutely absurd. And again, we'll go back to Brandon. As I said, I was on the fence with Brandon. I get his position that he was trying to get back out there because he was half in and half out with his ex-wife. So, let him get back on. But is this platform the right platform? I don't think so. So I'm gonna let somebody else take it.
Yes, I think that Brandon was the right choice to go because he was fresh off divorce. I actually didn't mind the fact that he had married her a second time. I think that he was trying, but you're fresh off a divorce, and the ladies just were not having it. They just kept coming back to that. Habiza, I knew that he was going to get himself in trouble. I knew that. I said, this man, he don't have to say nothing to these ladies. He's going to let's just let him keep talking. Just let him keep talking. And he's going to get himself cut off. I actually thought, I said, if they don't do something, it's going to be like previous episodes, and it's not going to be good. So production's going to have to step in. So yeah, I'm glad.
So I'll say this. I'm going to go against the grain a little bit and say that Brandon probably should not have been dropped off based off of the fact that he just freshly got out of a divorce. Because you have to understand, once you get to the place of divorce, you've already went through the emotions and all of this stuff. You've drained yourself of the whole relationship. So we don't know if he was checked out for a year or whatever, and he just needed the ink to dry on the paper, right? And so how else does a man get back out there in the real world? I mean, why does he have to have a certain timetable to say that he's ready? Why can't his actions speak to that? And why does it have to be sort of, packaged up into a time model? So I think that he should have had more of an opportunity to, kind of display who he was and how he could, provide and whatever he learned from his wedding or marriage, apply it to these new relationships on the show. So I don't think he got a good deal.
Y'all, I actually agree with Paul. P.O., I'm with you on this. You want to know why? Because what Brandon showed me was that, okay, he's loyal. He's willing to work out some kinks. He's willing to stay in for the long haul and try to figure it out, even if it's as embarrassing or humiliating as remarrying the same person, getting back into that same relationship. Like, y'all, let's remember, divorces can be very impersonal, public. You got half the family mad at you, whatever. And guess what they did? They tried to do it again. So it seems to me like he might be a little bit worth it. And then on top of that, people always complaining that Black men don't show emotion. That Black men aren't they don't show their feelings. And in Ready to Love history, this was the first time we saw a black man get up for elimination and drop a tear. In all these seasons, first time.
Way to go, Stacey. I like that.
Hold on, what's going on with my? I'm sorry. Oh, sorry, I'm having technical difficulties. Okay, y'all don't need to see me for real, right? Okay, I'll figure it out. All right. So, Courtney, what you got on it? Oh, you're on mute, boo.
I'm back. I honestly thought there couldn't have been a crazier, kookier castmate than Corey from our season. I swear, I was like, in the history, I don't think it gets any worse than that. Like, he was just a lot. And then came Habibi. And he just literally, I'm gonna be honest with you, I wrote this, I think on the Ready to Love 5 Instagram, and I got like 300 likes from posting it. I was like, who was in charge of casting for Ready to Love? Because clearly he was not. Like, as a cast, it stressed me out, but I also know they do certain things for ratings. So I think he brought a little spice. Brandon, I have my foot in the door and I have my foot out. Like, I, on one side, think that maybe he should have taken some time to heal. But on the other side, I'm thinking we can't tell someone how to feel, and we don't know how long they have taken a step back before the official second divorce. Like, they could have been, you know, done every last thing. Like, they moved away from each other, still tried to make it work. Maybe, you know, they did other things, and it could have been a year. It could have been 2 years. All his answer was that it was 6 months after. We don't know how long they have been disconnected, and you know, we can't look at relationships like that. Other than that, my foot is kind of like out the door because in the door, sorry, because I feel like he deserves every opportunity to love. And again, that reverts me back to my next point. We don't, you know, there's a difference in loving someone and being in love with that person. And he could, you know, have fell out of love with this woman, but still loved her as the mother of the kids, which is a amazing respect level. But I don't know. I think I probably would have, you know, entertained him at least one more, just to feel him out, see how much he healed. Because, you know, some people don't talk about their demons and someone do. So
I agree.
Courtney, you're gonna have to put doctor in front of your name now, because that was outstanding.
Listen, y'all remember Courtney being crazy. Courtney was crazy. Calm down.
Studying. My goodness.
Kojo, did you have anything on it, or did you already speak?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, I think Habib is a big problem. I think you know, we've seen his behavior in its full light. I think he would have been a better choice to have gone rather than Brandon. I'd have rather seen Brandon at least another week to give it some time. So yeah, Habib was the most obvious choice for me. I think the second thing though is Brandon's situation. You know, I think if I look at it from a relationship standpoint, as a man, if I was looking at a woman and she had been married twice, same person, 6 months after, I'm not engaging with you. I think people need a bit more time. I really do. I think the fact that he was in a relationship for 7 and 3, I think it was. So in total, it was almost a decade of your entire life. You don't just get over things in 6 months. Like, you need time to process stuff that's actually happened to you. It's almost like having, if you've ever done like a sports injury, ACL, right? You do your ACL. People that come back from an ACL think that after a few weeks they're good, but actually the suggestion is to take actually more than 8 weeks to recover fully before you go into full impact sports. The reason being because your knee starts to trick you, saying that you're good. You go into impact sports and you do the injury again, and it's even worse. So I think that 6 months, you know, no one can tell you what the exact time of healing period is. I just think to myself that I need you to have some time for you, though. I want you to focus on you and not focus on dating. I want you to focus on you and just spend time being single, not dating. Find you. That's my personal experience. I'm not saying it has to be for everybody, but for me, that would have been me. I don't want him to go, but that would have been my thought about him.
And we covered this, I think, on another Kojo show, that he could have been separated for 2 years and then just got divorced. That could be true, but at the same time, that divorce and then him being in his 30s, I feel like the ladies just couldn't get past that. I feel like that they not only could they not get past that, but they kept wanting to give Habiza a second chance. Maybe he's just being funny. I'm not sure. So they kept doing they did this thing with Habiza and yeah, and let Brandon go.
Yeah. Tyrone?
Yeah, I was going to say, first of all, you got to commend him. He put in 13 years. With him being 36, that's nearly his entire adult life trying to make things work,
Yeah.
with his kids and with the wife. So you got to commend a guy that's at least being present and trying to make it work for his kids. I feel like the 4 kids, though, even though quite a few women were willing to hear him out, may have been a little bit too much considering the dynamic of most of the women being single and without kids. I do feel like, he is mature enough to understand what the situation would have meant. Maybe would have been something that would help jumpstart him into finding something real. One of the things that I also thought about was, and Courtney touched on it, is that the producers, they get with us before they even start filming, right? You remember being in a room and they're all in there, like watching you, evaluating you, asking you questions and trying to figure out what type of person that you're going to be for this cast. So when they were up there, I still feel like production has the ultimate decision on who's going to go home in the end. So if it was 50-50 and they still chose Habibi, I don't know. But y'all know, from the beginning, I didn't feel like it was going to end well for Habibi at all, and by the end, when it was all said and done, he offended every single woman he was on screen with. So, it's what it is.
Well, y'all already know how I feel. I felt like that they definitely should have kept Brandon around for a little bit. We don't know his situation, but I just feel like all of us have a story. We all have a past. We're all going through something. Ain't nobody coming in with no baggage. No one's coming in with no issues, no problems, no, you know what I mean? Like we all have something. I would hope that we all come healed, but that's not always the case, and I just felt like that because of his situation. I think I absolutely completely agree. Him being on a reality TV show looking for love 6 months after the divorce was a bit much. But does he still need love too? Absolutely. And I think one day he's going to make someone a great husband. And, and it just is what it is. And, I know someone that was married for 17 years, got a divorce, met somebody in 6 months, and they've been dating for 3 years now. You know what I mean? And he's smitten with the girl. You know what I mean? So you just really never know. I just really felt like at the end of the day that they should have just been patient with him and actually gave him a chance and not just said like, oh, he just got a divorce. He got 4 kids. Oh, like in real life, him being divorced, just getting divorced, have 4 kids, married his ex-wife twice. Guess what? Like you might meet this dude and he might be the greatest man alive. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you don't know. And that's what dating is. Like you have to date. You have to collect the data. You have to really find out if this person is worth it. Because I know it's some dudes, and I said it on my live, it's some dudes out here with no kids with a whole lot of money that ain't ish. You know what I'm saying? So it just really depends. And I just really think that, people should really take the time to really hear people's stories and to really see like, what they're about. Like, let me see if your actions match your words. Like what you telling me, you know what I'm saying? It's not about how many kids you got, how many, how much money you got. If you, to me, it just doesn't matter. But
Sabrina, when women get out of relationships, they always do something like super drastic, like we cut our hair, or we buy a car or whatever.
Yeah.
He could have just got out that relationship and been like, this is my drastic. Like, I'm going to go on this reality TV show and I'm just going to put myself out there, and I'm either going to A, make my wife come running home to me, or B, I'm going to find another woman. Not for nothing. He could have went in with the mindset that if I don't get this far, his name is out there. He's not a looking guy. Like, he's not a bad looking guy. So I'm sure in his DMs right now, there's a lot of women with 4 kids that just got out of a divorce that are going to hop in his DMs and be like, you know what, let's, you know, get together. Let's talk. He looks good. He got another chance.
Yeah, absolutely. The comments that I've seen that the women are making about him, they're like, look, I don't care how many kids, how hit me up, baby, you know, but you know, who this person might not like it, but guess what? She might love it. You know what I'm saying? So his woman just was not on this show, period. And it's okay. It's what, 7 billion people in the world. It was 9 of them. It's okay.
If I could join in, if I could just say one thing.
Absolutely.
Now that I'm back. Well, I remember, like, I was in a very long relationship and long marriage, right? And so I feel like when I got back into dating, I didn't know how to date. So part of this show, like, helped me to learn tools, build relationships with people, try different things that put me back in the game too. So, I mean, anybody's canceling Poe brand, Poe nice, fine, big, tall, good credit looking, good job having, Brandon, good daddy. And we can't complain that all 4 kids are by the same woman, because if this was a lady, we'll be having some stuff to say. But I mean, because they did light into Jeffrey. So we need to give him at least some credit if we're going to be fair. But I mean, like I said, I think it's probably been good for him, and probably the exposure will help him on his new life.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else got anything with the elimination of Brandon and them keeping Habibi? Lord, I'm gonna apologize right now if I start tearing these names up. I'm sorry. That's all I got. All right. Next scene. At the brunch, Tommy tells the group that one man will be eliminated this week. Marvin does talk to a bunch of the women, and then he sits down with Unique, and she seems to be, honey, smitten by this man. Okay. She says that, you know, like, I'm feeling him, but, you know, he scared me a little bit. But she like it. Okay. She loves it. And Marvin pretty much likes how, you know, she's, you know, responding to it. You know what I'm saying? So then Red actually talks to Unique about her calling his 6-figure job a thought job. Okay. And Unique says, you know, the biggest comedian in Texas was offended. Like, how you gonna be offended and you're a comedian? Red states that pretty much you do the same thing too. So like, you kind of thoughting too. She like, I ain't no thought. No, I'm not a thought. Okay. He says that he is big on energy, and maybe, you know, his person just is not her, pretty much. And she like, all right then. And she heads to leave the table and go. That scene right there.
I'll jump in.
Yes.
I'll say this. When you encounter somebody, if you encounter them immediately with disrespect up front, right? You can't possibly expect any good results to come from that conversation. Like, if I greet somebody with with an insult, you know, I can't expect them to, you know, give me flowers. So, I mean, her, you know, then devaluing what he does for a living, saying, you should, you know, your job is so beneath everything that you should take this criticism and deal with it and love it just because you're in this realm. And then when he points it back out to her and say, hey, you're there now, it's all of a sudden an offensive thing. Like, so it's that whole situation rubbed me the wrong way. I didn't like how, you know, how she led, and then, you know, how she ended the conversation. You know, then I got to look at him and say, well, listen, man, you can articulate yourself in a better manner. You don't have to stoop to those terms. Like, because why are we going that low to have a conversation with an adult? You know, that's like, you know, 5-year-old stuff. So I get it. In the moment, it probably just popped off. But at the same time, at the end of the day, you know, neither of the two were right, but definitely she was wrong for leading with the disrespect up front. That's it.
Oh, I guess I was on mute. I was trying to jump in there before you, PO. But I gotta say again, since we keep bringing it up, this is in 2023. We got to stop with the double standards. It's been going on for so long. Granted, if we just flip the genders around and someone referred, I know Unique did not call him a thought, but referring to anything that she did as something as a thought job or thought tea or thought tish, that would be a huge problem. The panel will be just talking about the whole thought situation and all that. So it's just time to stop it. Let's just call a thing and let's try to be fair. But just speaking of, in these YouTube streets, Red is supposed to be, sassy Red. I thought it was a little mirroring of feminine energy. Men and women are different, so we shouldn't react the same way in some situations. But I would have liked to see him handle like PO. He should have called PO about it. PO not to handle them negative comments and the backlash and the back talk. So he should have. He needed a little bit of coaching. Y'all got it. Who in it? Who next? Who's next?
I can go in. So I watched it quite a few times. I feel like he initiated that seed of doubt about his job, right? It could have just been plain and simple. I'm a DJ. It could have left it at that. But he started with, a little bit of negativity about his own job. And then she said it in the form of a question. Is it because you have is it because it's a thought job? And if it's not, he could have just said no. I understand he might have felt a little bit offended, but when it was brought back on her, she straight up answered the question, no, because I'm not a thought, right? And kept it moving just like that. So I know we're going to have differences of opinions about it, but in addition to that, Red jumped into the whole conversation, a little bit presumptuous about what she was thinking, who she was feeling, and was automatically assuming that she was feeling him. So that might have set her off, from the beginning, before the conversation even started. And if you continue to watch Red, you can see that he has some ways about him. I called him a little bit controlling. I called him a little bit assertive. And then, the more I look at it, the more I watch it, I feel like Unique may know a little bit more about Red than she's saying.
That's interesting you say that. I do think that she phrased it like a question, like, okay, validate it. So you don't have a thought job, like prove it to me, that you don't have a thought job. But saying that you have a thought job was a jab to him. I was like, ooh, that kind of punched him a little bit. So he pulled back and he got offended immediately. I don't think he should have doubled back and tried to like, oh, well, let's ease it over. You and I, we kind of got off on the wrong foot. Girl, dead it. Just Red is done. She's not interested. The fact that she came at you like that says that, and then you didn't have a good rebuttal for her. It's done. It's done. And honestly, it kind of annoyed her more that you came back a second time. So yeah, when she walked away, that was done. But I do think in the moment she wasn't trying to she wasn't trying to insult him, excuse me. But once he felt that punch, it was done.
I have a question, right? So like she said that's a thought job. So like, does anybody have a list of what the thought jobs actually are, so I can make sure that I can either A, get a degree and go work at a thought job, or B, I can just stay in my little white corporate job? Does anybody know? Y'all let me know.
No, Courtney, and you know what? And this is what I said. I know a couple. I know at least 3 DJs that are doing very well.
But what is a thought job? I'm just trying to figure it out. Y'all, I still got student loans, so y'all let me know what the thought jobs are, so I can go get one at this point in time.
They have transitioned.
You work at the gym.
Music producing.
Music. Okay, keep going.
You want me to keep going? Bouncer. Security guard. Work at the gym.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say DJ, but
interesting. I think that scene was a little bit more personal than we actually know. Like, think about this, right? He's a DJ. He's also on a radio station. So everybody in the city is going to know who this man is. Whether he knows them, they definitely know him. He has a job that requires him to be in the public often, to talk on the radio often, whatever. With that being said, I feel like she actually knew a little bit more than we know. Maybe she heard around the way from her homegirl's best friend's cousin that said he did this, that, and the third. So now you know how telephone gets, it goes all the way back down. Like, it is what it is. When you're in a position of power, you're in a position of like, oh, I'm popular, I'm a quote unquote celebrity or local celebrity or whatever. People always got something to say. I don't think that's a thought job unless his actions are proving that he's acting like a thought.
He is a very well-known personality in the Dallas area. And I agree with Courtney. Her comments were being shady. She was shady boots, call it what it is. She knows of him. She knows him from around the way. They know, and maybe he didn't recognize her at first. So that was like a little bit of saltiness, a little bit of shade. We know what it was. Now, he was being presumptuous, assuming somebody was checking for him, and I realized that I have a friend that's good friends with him, so I feel like I need to get some more information, but I didn't recognize that till today. However, when she said what she said, if a guy would have said that to one of us, oh, we'd still be talking about, we'll be in arms, it'll be some mess, it'll be some drama. Like, I don't know why we can't hold this accountability thing equally. Like, we're all up in arms about what Habibi said, which he did go a little far with his language, the selections he made. However, if Red would have all out called her a thought, because he was like, well, it sounded like, and his thing was defensive, well, it sounded like you got a thought job. First, it would have been some mess. It would have been ladies' lounge, chairs flipped over, because it's episode 2, and we seeing how some of these ladies riding for some of these men. So it would have been an all-out brawl.
Thank you, Stacey.
I think with this situation, any job that's going to put you in a line of status can be turned into a thought job. But there are certain jobs that have a perception of being more thoughtish than others, right? Due to the way that the people that follow those people tend to behave unscrupulously, right? For instance, like b-ball players, right? Someone might say a thought job, right? Because the women are unscrupulous in their behavior. Before you know it, they're in your hotel room. It's unscrupulous. So any job that really has you, especially as a man, that has you in a place, and I think someone else said about a place of power, where you are, able to have access to masses of the opposite sex, could be termed a thought job. I think with Red's situation with Unique, though, he did kind of initiate the conversation of negativity towards his job, and then Unique said, "I'm going to seal the deal." Now, the reason why she sealed the deal, like I said to you already, it's because she thinks he's facially challenged. She doesn't fancy him. It's just that simple. Like, you would have had more respect for somebody if you actually fancied them. You would have never said those words, "stop job." You would have chose something else. You may have inquired a bit more deeper. You might have chosen more lighter words than saying someone's got a thought job. I think where I had issue with Unique was that, okay, the first conversation you said, you know what, but by the second conversation you said you're doubling down. You doubling down. It is a thought job. And I think that then showed a level of disrespect that needed to be like, hold on a minute, babe. The first time round, okay, maybe you were kind of going along with what he kind of said, but the second time you doubling down, and let it be known. I said this as well. I think it is personal. I think she knows something. You know what I mean? I think she knows something about him. It sounds like he slept with her homegirl or whatever, and was probably, being trash about it. And that's why she's releasing the comment about thought job. She's trying to fire back for her good sis. She said, "Pow, pow, you're going to get one of these." You know what I mean? So, I think it's personal. And I think if they get to real talking and get underneath it all, I think we'll find that, there's some history that goes beyond just those two meeting. And and just a lesson to any man out there, if you ever tell a woman that that you think that she fancies you and you're not good looking to her, you gonna find it ain't gonna end well. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Just measure it well. That's what I'm saying.
Kojo, they want you to say the word thought again. They said it sounds sexy when you say thought.
What the thought job? You know I was tripping.
See that? That's harassment. Double standard.
Oh my God. Well, I know for me at the very first meeting when she was like, "Do I know you from somewhere? I know you from somewhere. I know what you do." So my thing is you say he got a thought job, but you keep saying you know him from somewhere. And like Tyrone says, I feel the exact same way. I feel like it's something that she knows more than what we know. And she don't want to really put it out there on screen, on camera. She like, I know though, I know. But my thing is if you've seen him around, if you know him around, you say he got a thought job, but you've seen him around, I'm not going to say she's a thought, but my thing is just like Kojo said, what was it, the thoughtness? But you're at where he's at because you've seen him around. So you fancy places that are thought places if you've seen him around doing his thought job. I mean, I just don't know. It's just kind of like you're calling the kettle black in a sense. You know what I mean? Like you can't say in the same sentence, your job a thought. I'll be there tomorrow though. Like what? Like make it make sense. But either way, I think the way that he kind of came at her, I felt like, and she was like, and I said I was sorry. So I felt like at that meeting, maybe she went home and thought about it because of the interaction. Like it wasn't that good. But I feel like if he didn't bring that energy to her, that conversation would have went completely different. That's how I feel. But once he kind of started like, I ain't really appreciate, you know what I'm saying? So he brought that energy. So that's how she reciprocated it. You know what I'm saying? So she was like, well, I'm just going to let you know, like, yeah, I wasn't feeling in the beginning, you know what I'm saying? But when I first saw her like body language and stuff like that, like she was really calm. She was cool. Like, I don't think that she thought the smoke was getting ready to come. And then when it did, that's when she was like, all right, then I'm out. Like she wasn't ready for it. But anyway, that's my 2 cents on it. Did everyone speak on it?
Yeah, I think everybody's covered, I think.
Okay. All right. So anybody else got anything else to say about that? Because I know for me, when she was like, she went on Red situation, because I don't know, I think we talked about it. Because right after that, doesn't she go? Isn't that Unique that goes and actually talks to Marvin? Isn't that the same one?
Yeah, that's the issue that a lot of people are having is that she's really interested in Marvin in his dungeon, but Red has a thought job.
Right. Like that's crazy. That's right. Yeah. And she says
those two can be mutually exclusive though. Right.
Well, I got one more point. As Stacy say, us men are sensitive these days. And when I know I was gonna get her to smile when she said, well, I should be able to say what I want because he's a comedian. Like comedians don't have feelings too. If you're talking about personal, if you do a job, that's your job. Doesn't mean personally you don't have feelings. So, I thought we'd bring that up for the sensitive men out there. Men have feelings too. We have nervous systems.
I just want to know what the thought jobs are. So if anybody in the comments could just put their suggestions down below. I have student loans that need to be paid off.
I'm trying to figure out.
Make me a list. I'm gonna start sitting on my resume right now.
Tyrone sent us a link in the private chat, Courtney. But I agree with you. Actually, J-Dub, comedians are the most sensitive. Right. Comedians are extremely sensitive. So yeah, I'm not surprised that he got a little butthurt on that.
Humans are, people are. I mean, let me tell y'all something. I remember I met Martin Lawrence. I went up to Martin Lawrence. I was like, "What's up?" He was like, I was like, "Dang, you not funny today?" Like, and when he and I we sat down, he was like, "Yo, like, yeah, I'm Martin Lawrence. I'm a comedian." He like, "But that's not me all the time." He's like, at the end of the day, really just a regular person, you know? So he
Right.
was like, I'm sorry if I gave you that look. And I was like, no, it's cool. And I said, but I never really thought about it like that. He was like, yeah. He was like, that's TV-ish. Period. He was like, that's how I get paid. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yep.
So, and I felt him on that. You know, and for her to kind of be naive in the sense of he a comedian, he can't take it. I mean, that's not the point. Like, he not on stage right now. I mean, well, technically he is, but he not working. Like, he's trying to find love. You know what I mean? So, like, of course, if he got offended, if anything, I felt like she should have absolutely apologized. But my thing is if his job is not a thought job, I just need someone to tell me in the chat or in this panel, is an erotic author that performs erotic activities, is that a thought job or not? I just need to know. Maybe I'm tripping. Y'all know I be tripping sometimes.
It's not. It
don't have to be. He could just be doing that with his one person.
Huh?
No, it's in the sex worker category. It's not a thought job.
It's a lifestyle.
That's even worse.
But
Yeah,
so that's not
I think
thoughtish.
it's-
But him being a DJ is. I have questions.
Well,
I don't think so.
What?
I was on a panel with him Saturday, and he did say his last relationship or one of his last ones was polyamorous.
Okay.
Is that how you say it?
Mm-hmm.
I just want to know, like, do you think he built that dungeon for one woman for the rest of his life?
It's not the point.
What?
So
No.
I wouldn't do it.
No,
Let's
I
say-
think
He has multiple
That's his
women.
job.
No.
He-
Let's
way.
face the fact.
Woman.
For performance.
He does those. He performs shows.
Thought job.
right.
Sounds stylish to me.
It's
Sounds
not
very
just
stylish.
for one person.
Well, I'm
Sex worker.
gonna say this,
Glorified.
and y'all probably ain't even gonna believe I'm about to say this, but he's serious about his job. There's a place and a space for everybody. Like, I would literally, if I was in a committed relationship, I would go to his, even if I weren't, I would go to one of his classes to get better educated. I might learn a little something. You might can teach this old dog a new trick, something.
I don't see anything wrong with it.
I don't
He feels your man.
I just want to know. My question is just so simple. It's just what he does being an erotic author and performing sexual kind of acts. Oh, can I say the actual kind of acts at shows? Is that considered a thought job comparable to the comedian? That
I don't think so, because I don't think
I never
that
said it was disrespectful.
I don't think that the comedian or his DJ part, I don't think that's thoughtish either. I just did not, in general, I did not like putting that label on these hardworking people. Because there's a lot of women that work hard for their money too. And I think it's just really unfair for us to like go to that level of judgment that we're labeling jobs and jobs as side jobs when they make an honest living.
All right, I have a question here. What do we call a woman that has a dungeon and does those things? Like, how do we view them? You understand what I'm saying? Because
She's
I
a
think
dom. She's a dominatrix.
Yeah,
I understand that. But
we call them Scorpios. I think that's what we call them.
But from a public view standpoint, right? People that don't understand subs and doms and all that other stuff, like, you know, and they're finding this out about a woman. Well, they get all kind of, you know, thoughts about it, right?
No pun intended.
I see what you did there.
I think the situation with Marvin is just a teachable moment. It's how you approach it. It's about how honest you are about who you are, what you want, and what you like. You know, someone is gonna like what you are, right? So just be open and honest about that from the beginning, and they're either gonna accept that and want that, or they're not.
But it's still a thought job, isn't it? Though, isn't it? Doesn't matter how serious you are about it. It's still a thought job.
I made
access to the opposite sex in considerable sums. It's still a thought job.
Yes, there are some positions. I made a comment and I said, you may not be a thought, but you are wearing a thought's uniform.
So that's why I
Right.
needed unique. That's why I needed unique to be actually consistent with her critique, which is why it comes off as it's very personal to Red, because there's no way you're going to be calling Red's job thoughtish, but not calling this gentleman's job thoughtish. There's no amount of seriousness he can put. He can write as many neurotic, novels he wants, as much as he wants, but your job would then be quote unquote thoughtish, And I think also unique going into the lounge and telling the ladies that, she got called a thought almost by Red was kind of cheeky, because, sis, if you're going to dish it out, you better be ready to take it. You know what I mean? But yeah, there's no way to differentiate between someone who's got a whole dungeon, ready for the opposite sex, and someone who's got a DJ job. You better put them in the same category if you're going to classify them in that particular aspect.
She just didn't like him. No, go ahead. I was just saying she just didn't care for Red. That's all it was. Go ahead, Jada.
Yeah, you saying the same category. Like, you understand that's a dungeon going on. There are physical props. That's not just for show. He's using, those are acts being performed in his apartment. There's things hanging from the wall, drilled, on the floor. Those are, he's already lost his security deposit. It's gone. This is in his apartment, He's doing something with those. He's just not reading a book or riling the women up. He's putting hands, whips, chains on these women, and they paying him to do it. Like, when P.O. came back, I was at perfect timing, because like P.O. said, they just like to get thugged out after 9:30, but paying him.
Exactly.
Yep.
He gets paid to do thugging out after 9:30.
Yep.
You just made me think of one.
Mike's job.
That guy that gives those massages, those oil massages in Jamaica.
Listen,
hot job.
I think there's one in Dallas, if I'm not mistaken. Those erotic massage.
How you know that, Stacey?
I want to say there's one because I saw it on Instagram.
Yeah.
We don't like that.
What we don't like?
The men, we don't like that. We
He
don't
is
like
getting
that.
paid too.
Don't like that.
What?
Would you allow your?
Oh God, I'm no. Yes, that's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I know we live in a different time, and we're supposed to let everyone express themselves. If you have a woman, a significant other, and you let another man oil her up and down, get in between her thighs, and push and pull her, it's like, oh, she's just relaxing. I mean, I'm gonna get off the planet if somebody say that's okay. I'm gone. I'm just gonna jump off the planet right now.
I'm serious about my job. I'm serious about my job. So if that's me doing that, that's me being serious about my job. And I think you need to accept my professionalism and know that you shouldn't be insecure as a man and just let me do what I do as a job. You know what I'm saying? I'm not having sex with her. Oh, I can't say that word. Sorry, but you know what I mean?
That's right. Take care of your woman.
I think he's very serious about that job too. He is very serious about them whips and them straps and everything else.
And I respect it.
Yeah, maybe I could show you how to do it, so she don't have to come to me.
Well, you know what? All right. So if I can just say this, what I can appreciate about it and the introduction of Marvin into the Black world right now through Ready to Love is that it shows that Black men are sensual too. They're engaging. They're not just like, bang, bang, quit. Like, they're about pleasing partners. Like, if I can put a different spin on it, that's what I would have to go with.
So could you date someone like that, Stacey? Is that what you're telling me? Could you date someone like that?
Could I date
Marvin? Someone like Marvin. Could you date Marvin?
I don't think
that he has.
I don't think I could date someone with that job. I have 2 younger daughters. So I just don't think that, like if they walk into my room and see all the stuff hanging down, I just don't think that's what I would want to do.
She said all this stuff hanging down.
But you know what? If I can say this too, this is a prime example of when a woman is attracted to you and when she's not, how things look and sound differently to her. Because you got one where I was just totally off-putting, and then you got one where it's so intriguing, I want to know more.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else have anything else to say about Marvin and Unique and Red? All right. Tequila, God dang it. Tequila sets up a group date. At the group date, Tequila has, God dang it, I'm so sorry. I actually,
Tequila. Like
Tequila
Tequila.
has a conversation. And to think I actually told Kojo, I was like, no, it's Tequila. He was calling it
That's
Tequila.
what it is.
Tequila has a conversation with Habibi about his job and how it affected his relationships. He says that he travels a lot, and pretty much she's like, well, what happened? Like, what you was doing? He was like, yeah, I would just find a girl, you know what I'm saying? Wherever I went, you know, if I went there, then I would find her. And when I'm there, I found her. And that's just how it was. And she was like, so you pretty much just be cheating, huh? He was like, yeah, I be cheating. And she was like, so you just was cheating out there? He was like, yeah, like my girl, she wasn't giving me fellatio. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't doing it. Oh God, this is too much. I was trying to find other words. He says that since then he has grown up, and that was the last lesson that pretty much he had to learn. Where my pictures, golly. I'm gonna put myself.
Go, Popo.
Okay. All right. Here we go. So I'm going to say this gracefully. There's not a lot of stuff that offends me. Like I can take it, I can watch it, and you know, I can dish it out. Like, okay. Just to see another brother go on national TV, right? And downgrade a whole, like, kind of sort of broad brush men with his actions. Because people look at this stuff and they see, you know, and they think that this is what most men think about, right? Or this is how most men act or whatever. And to take this, well, first off, that part, and then the disrespect of it, though, the disrespect to have a conversation. You're talking to a lady. And when you're talking to a lady, this is the type of verbiage that you have. So you have no respect for her at all. Yes, I understand you want to be upfront, but you still have to understand that you're talking to a woman. And not only was I offended, you know, I was disappointed. Like I wanted to see better from the brother. And I, you know, y'all know me. I try to give people an out. I can't give them an out. It was just disrespectful, period, point blank. Like I don't even have any words for it because to replay the whole scene in my head pisses me off. I'm done.
Let me go right behind you, P.O. I agree with half you said. You are a proven champion of letting things slide off your back. I mean, I'm a firsthand witness. I applaud you, stand-up guy. But I think Habibi has done something positive for once, even all those cringeworthy moments and actions that he was doing. I think he's united the people. He is a united front that Habibi does not represent the manhood, the species of male that people accept or think that's normal. We don't believe that. I mean, like everybody, even the ain't-ish people, like, come on now, Habibi went way too far on this one. I mean, and like I said, we was talking last week on the panel, and me and Ty agreed. Every time he opens his mouth, it gets worse and worse and worse. Like it's like he's trying to top his low. So no, I don't think people look at Habibi and say, you know what, it's a lot of guys like that. No, I don't think so. So I'm done on that one.
Yeah. Never did I feel like he was representing, you know, like my brothers, my cousins, or all the other men that I know. I felt like he was just on his own on this one. I understand being brutally honest, but to have zero tact, especially like Paul said, when it comes to speaking with women on national TV, you know that you're on national TV, you know the cameras are watching, and to still say some of the things that he was saying. Like, I really want to know, if he felt that was good on his part. You know what I mean? Like, I'm anxious to see how he feels about seeing himself say some of the things that he said on camera. That's all I got.
So I have a question, and there's not just that. Like you spoke about the tact, Tyrone. He even went so far as to say he spent all last year keeping his penis in his pants. Like, even the words he chose, he could have said, "Oh, I abstained." He could have said certain things, but he would go straight for the crassness. Just go straight for it. I started to question. Now, you guys have been on the show before. Is he a producer plant? Like, is he there just for the drama? Because I just thought, this is crazy. Like, just all the things that you could have said instead. And I was like, there's just so many things. I really started to think, did they do this to him on purpose? Excuse me, not do this to him on purpose, but that they know he's like this. Did they bring him on here just for the drama?
I hope not, especially like if they knew that he was going to be disrespectful. I don't think they anticipated, the levels to which he was doing it. I'm pretty sure they knew that he was kind of upfront with some of the things that he was saying. He probably toned it down a little bit, and maybe they just called it, him being honest, during the interviews and during the, the mini sessions with the producers. But, you could see even Tommy got a little bit upset this episode. So I don't think they would have wanted that.
Y'all ever see your best girlfriends or their best guy friends, and they're dating someone, and there's all these red flags, like just red flag, like Sabrina said, red flag, all these red flags. But your best guy friend or your best girlfriend just somehow thinks it's leaning a little bit more green. Like it's not really, red. It's a little light green. Like, they want to argue with you, but all the red flags are there. It makes me wonder about Tequila's dating choices, because you see the red flags, but you think it's green, so you're leaning towards that person, like it just doesn't make sense. It's just like, maybe she sees the good in people. Maybe that could be it. I have a girlfriend like that too. She always sees the good in people, but then you end up getting burned because you're not seeing what is right in front of you, because I personally, I agree with J-Dub. I wouldn't be able to go and do that. It's a double standard. I can't sit in front of all these guys and say those things like, yeah, I cheat while I'm on the road, or I do this, I do that, No, none of my cast would have got on green screen and said, you know what? She was pretty honest, so we're still going to keep her around. Like, none of my cast would do that. Nobody would say, because I was honest about me cheating on the road, I'm still going to keep her on the show. Like, immediately, it should have been a no for the entire cast of women. It should have been a no. The minute he is okay with that, and he's, making those kind of statements, it's baby, it's a red flag. It's clear as day. You see the stop sign, just stop, baby.
I'm somewhere else right now, because like, it's giving me like the new Kanye, you know what I mean? Like, it's giving me saying things to be provocative, and I don't think that he is a rude and obnoxious and ignorant man. Number one, he's a musician. And what do we know about musicians? We know that because of their craft, they're some of the most intelligent people, in the world. And so, like, I really question, like, why didn't you show your true self, and why were you using such provocation?
Someone said this
yesterday. A part of me just can't, in life, because you go to these different venues, you perform, you do all these different things, right? So I just can't even wrap. I don't date that kind of personality. So it's like, for me, it's so hard for me to wrap my head around. Like, there's really people that speaks like that to women, that and that other women are interested in. You know what I mean? Like, I just can't. It's A plus B ain't equaling C for me. So I can't make sense of none of it.
Someone said this yesterday, that because he wasn't interested in any of the ladies there, because he just didn't want to be there, then he just went for the crassness. He just went for just being crass and just inappropriate. But I agree that what's her name, Tequila. I said, how are you going to pick all the good stuff out of what he said and just let all the bad stuff fall? Like, I said, what, sis? What is happening? That you're just not hearing everything that's going on around you. That's going on around you. But I do think, to your point, that he probably is very intelligent. He probably knows. No, he knows what he's doing. He thinks he's a jokester. On one hand, I'm like, does he think he's being funny, but he's being crass? There are some people that just don't know how to relate to people. Nah, I'll do that.
Well, I tried to make a little bit of sense of it, and I was listening to what Tequila was saying during the argument. And we've seen previous seasons where castmates would say, well, this person doesn't act that way towards me, so I don't see that, right? And in all actuality, that person may not be seeing or hearing about what the person is doing in the other dates until they get to the lounge. And it just seems to be that for some reason, and not to get on the ladies tend to go at each other a whole lot more than the men, right? And they start to say these things about their connections, where sometimes it's hard to determine if that lady is just trying to be a hater or she's just being truthful. For us watching it, it's clear and it's easy, but you can see with Tequila, she didn't actually seem surprised by any of the things that he was saying until he mentioned the cheating part. Then you could see the obvious surprise in her face, as if he ain't never really said nothing like that to her before, right? So after that, you could see her body language and everything change towards him, because she was ride or die. And even after the argument, she was still willing to leave for him. So she's obviously seeing things and hearing things that the other ladies aren't. So.
Oh, you go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I just have one thought on that, and it's this. It's plain and simple. I don't give a damn what he would thought was funny, how he felt that, he would, just go rogue. You still have to have some sort of self-worth, right? And so if you don't have enough value on yourself to make a statement to 4 or 5 million people, make these sort of statements and these just really grungy sort of innuendos, so to speak, or whatever. I mean, that alone just says that, to me, he's not as intelligent as the musicians that I know. I think that he was just really being an idiot. Period.
Yeah, I mean, I get that people have different perspectives and people love different and receive words in a different way. But skipping forward, I don't know how anybody can back this man after he said what he said to Janelle. Like, in real life, where are we? I mean, for anybody, I can't tell anybody how to feel, anybody how to think. If forget that he's a musician, forget that he's 20, whatever years old, whatever the case may be, that's a man. And the fact that he feels comfortable speaking to a woman like that is so absurd and ridiculous. And actually, I was looking for Ready to Love to take immediate action on that situation, because like, those, you using those type of words and phrases, that's like lawsuit area. She would Janelle would have every right to take it to the people's court in real life, just even though this is a show. So I'm just saying, anybody, all the Habibi supporters and all that, how would you feel if he said that to you in real life? Like, I mean, like, this might be, we talking 1981 or something, when somebody be comfortable to say something like that. We're in 2023. It's no excuse for it. You can't cover that.
So
right.
I have a different perspective on I won't say different perspective, but just maybe some consideration of thought, right? First and foremost, it is very crude what he said, but it's only crude because he has no buy-in. Like, if he's talking to somebody he has a buy-in with, this doesn't go anywhere, which means that he's not very, I think personally, he's not read the room very well, number one. And that then means emotionally intelligence probably is lacking in this area, right? Because he's a musician. I'm trying to look at it from his perspective. He's a musician. You're on the road. You say that to a girl on the road, you get away with it, right? Because you have a power dynamic. You are the musician. You are the one that's sought after. You're the one that's wanted, right? And when it comes to an art of seduction, being deadly truthful is also sexy. So it does work, but you need to know what environment you're in and what audience you're speaking to. The problem is he has no buying in this area, number one. Number two, he has no power in this dynamic, because there are women in this particular arena who have businesses, multiple, money, this, that. They're very well accomplished. Your power is diminished. You don't have that buy-in with these women. Him saying those words about, her, what he would do to her. Yes, it comes off crude in this environment. But when you're on the road and you're talking to your fans that way, you may say what you want to say. But let me tell you something. These musicians, if they say that girl gonna get gassed, right? Because he's a musician to her. So I think his emotional intelligence is the biggest issue. And it leads him to saying really dumb stuff that he can't take account of the fact that you're in a different arena. I think also as well, he uses the persona of being more edgy and out there as a way of also adorning that sexual energy, right? So it's like he takes that on and he gives it out because it creates a more mysterious, edgy feel, right? If he's so direct and to the point, person's like, oh, he's just like that, right? But as you saw in this environment, only one person was able to actually deal with that. That's Tequila, right? Right? It was only Tequila was the only one that could, and even then, he actually didn't do that to Tequila. He actually changed his approach. So actually, he's not even that he's not dumb. He's not dumb, but I would say that he lacks awareness in terms of actually taking stock in every situation, because he was very much aware that when Tequila was down, I'm going to go to her. I'm going to tell her that she's the most amazing thing ever. Like, baby, this is episode 1, by the way. You're down and you're just the most amazing. I can't believe that you're at the bottom here. What he saw is a porn. If I'm honest with you, in Tequila, he saw a porn. And for me, I look at Habib as a hunter. He hunted Tequila, got her on side, and he didn't do what he did to Janelle. You know what I mean? So I'm not agreeing with his behavior, by the way. I'm giving a thought process to the behavior. So I don't agree with him, and I don't like what he did, but more of a case of I can see what the person was trying to do, but you have to take stock of your environment. You have to take stock of what area you can do that in. It's not every area you can do that in. And that for me tells me you're lacking social awareness and emotional intelligence to know that this is not the area I do that thing as well. So yes, he should have been gone just based on what he said. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Dr. Kojo, just with your last statement, you wiped everything that you justified in the mindset. You are responsible for reading the room. Just because you're accustomed to handling yourself in a certain way. If something that you're doing is offensive, illegal, if you can have all the thought process that you want to have, it's still offensive, it's still illegal, and you still have to be held accountable for it. That's a grown man, and it's his responsibility to read that room. He's not in a jazz club. Those aren't groupies.
I agree with you, J-Dub, and I hate that I'm understanding what Kojo is saying right now, because after he made that comment about abstaining, he said, "Do you know how hard that is for a saxophonist?" It's like, I don't care. Like, to me, I would be like, what? But I'm a saxophonist, and you know how hard that is for me to abstain for a year. What? But to Kojo's point, that's all he can relate it to. He doesn't. In this arena, in this environment, he needed to change you need to change your environment. You need to understand that you're not on the road. You're not playing saxophone for these ladies. So interesting.
By the way, it's not a justification for his behavior. I think people confuse when we try to explain behavior. In me explaining someone's behavior is not a justification. If I explain why someone did what they did, it's not a justification. I'm actually agreeing with you saying he should have been off the show. I'm offering a perspective of why he did what he did and maybe why the behavior comes in. It's not a justification at all. He should be gone. Right? You got it wrong, and you should be out of the show, right? And now we're questioning his actual character and his actual morality. So now that those mistakes that he's made on the show, we're now questioning his character and morality. And so if he's smart, if he's someone of integrity, he should come out and be like, hey, I did make mistakes here, and I know what I've done wrong. Here's what I did wrong, X, Y, and Z, right? But like I said, I think there's parts of his behavior that work. I'm just saying, and I guess maybe from my perspective of just being around with some other guys who've lived a life, when you're just trying to, and this is what I'm saying, if you're just trying to hit something, parts of what his behavior works. But in this environment, it's about love. It's about finding connection. That doesn't work. Do you get what I'm saying to you? But if you're trying to smash and trying to get something over, that can be something that people can use to get on there. So yes, I agree with you. I'm not agreeing with his behavior at all. I'm not saying it's right in this environment at all. No, he should have been out, and that's why I said he should have been gone before Brandon.
Got it. Received.
J-Dub, were you about to say something?
No, I was just saying I received Kojo's message. You know, again, my thought process isn't on his skill level. So, you know, it just sounded like it was sympathizing, but he broke it down and made me understand. And I totally got it. He went under Habibi's, whatever he called it, you know, he'd be making up some word, his Guthra. He went in that dome and just, you know, got into his brain, or what would the saxophonist who's been in Dubai airport, you know, think like in a room full of ladies. So I got that. No, I'm okay.
Does anybody else have anything with Habibi, how he sat down with Kira? He says that it's been hard for him because he has kept his junk in his trunk for at least a year. And she was like, "You a cheater?" He was like, "Yeah, I'm a cheater." So he told her to. Kira says that she loves the honesty, but it is a no for her. And pretty much Tequila,
like NyQuil.
I call her Tequila.
Because y'all keep saying her name. So anybody else have anything to say about this scene with Habibi and Tequila and Kira? No. All right, let's move forward. So Janelle was pretty much throwing shots. So they're still on this group date. Janelle was throwing shots at Kira. She pretty much called her a little girl when Red was picking her up and playing with her. He was like, she was like, "Don't let that little girl get you in trouble." So she called her a little girl. She said pretty much at the end of the date, when her and Red was walking out, she was like, "Yeah, and she had a fake bag, but mine real. But it don't matter because she young though." So how did y'all feel about Janelle's comments about Kira, just her energy period in that scene with her, Red, and Kira?
Well, I feel like
get it, P.O.
Okay. I feel like this was just a prime episode of women, beautiful Black women tearing each other down or tearing down another Black woman. That was unjustified. It was not warranted. It wasn't, and that's the problem with a lot of women. And we see that on display right here. They put their foot on somebody else's neck to climb above them, you know, just to look better. But at the end of the day, that makes you look ugly. You know, and so when you have somebody that is playing high on, you know, what I have, and what they don't have, or what do you have on the inside that you're compensating or overcompensating on the outside with, right? So to me, that just shows me that there's not a whole lot to give. I mean, when you have to do that. I thought it was immature. It was unwarranted. And it was just not a good look, period. You didn't come here to be in a beauty pageant. You came here to find your guy. Do that and keep it moving. The end.
Yeah. On this episode, I would say I was one of the few people who got Janelle and Aries mixed up. You know, I felt like they were almost twins, but people broke down the differences in them. And really, in this episode, I could really see the difference in them. I thought Janelle, because she had like a bubbly personality, that she was just like lighthearted and secure and everything on, but it really got ugly. And just like the YouTube streets say, you know, we were highly disappointed, and she let a lot of people down. And not only that, this is where, you know, everything we're talking about, every single scene is like a negative scene. You know, it's supposed to be about love. And let me just add a ray of sunshine of light. I don't know if Aries is in the chat, but I mean, she really shined and came through. She was something. She had the fellas swooning, even Kojo. She's fine and thick and all that, you know. So it was just she really came through. She is actually the new favorite. Her and Janelle are separate now. I can totally see the difference in them. And yeah, again, I wrote that on my review. I was so disappointed. Oh, there go Aries. There she go. Hey, Aries. All right, y'all got it. Hey, Seaway.
Okay, so I think Janelle and Red have similar personalities. I was watching Janelle for a while, and I was starting to say that you know, her love language is touch, but I think she has more of a controlling, kind of a territorial type of vibe about her, almost like Red. And if you watch Red and listen to Red, you know, the way that like he will just literally pick a woman up, the way that he would grab her by her wrist, the way that he would like tell women, you know, not to call the other guys or not to do this. It's almost like this controlling thing. Unfortunately, I feel like Janelle may start to feel like she's getting squeezed out, you know, when it comes to her connections. And it's looking like she's barely losing with the guys that she likes, right? Starting with Brandon, you know, she was all on him, found out that they had the kids and he's gone. Then she's on Quentin and even found a way to mention that, you know, her and Quentin had a 2-hour conversation. So it's almost like, you know, she wants to win, so to speak. And I think it was Pio that had mentioned, you know, the ladies tearing each other down. From what I've seen, you know, it's mainly just Janelle with the negative comments. And it's almost like all of the other women seem quite supportive, right? So even the fight started with Janelle mentioning something about their tops, right? If you recall that. So that's about all I got on that. But when it comes to Aries, I said it in my review, Aries is a star, right? I'll say it again, Aries is a star. Did you see her during the fight? You see how much grace she carried herself with during the fight. Like, again, for the first 3 times I watched the fight, I was just looking at Aries. All right, I'll be honest about that. But yeah, I like Aries. I hope the best for her. I think she's a star.
Now, what if Aries? You see Aries in episode 4 and she knocks somebody cold out? Then what?
Then I'll change. But right now, I'm just telling you what I see.
No doubt.
And then that eyes comment was actually my very first Instagram post. So that hit home for me.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think Janelle was really being a bully. And I really don't think she's jealous either. I'm gonna be honest. And I see this with some women, unfortunately. I see this with some women. It's a level of like competition. It's everybody has to like me more complex. Like they can like you, but they like me more. Just like the whole, you know, someone's calling out what their top is. You know, they're all going around the room. Janelle knows that Quint is going to be called probably more than 1, 2, 3 times. He's a good looking guy. But in her head, all she's dead set on is, we spoke on the phone for 2 hours. What did y'all do? Like, you don't have to knock somebody else's crown to make sure yours is sitting up straight. That's not queen-like type of energy. It's not cute. Like I said, I don't think she's jealous, and I don't think she's, a bully. I think she just likes competition. If you guys go on her page, I remember I was looking at some of the cast the other day on Instagram, and I get to her page, and on one of her pictures, it goes and says something like, she's new to the city, or she had been watching Ready to Love for however long she's been, seeing the season. So she pretty much knows how it goes, right? Like, it's not like we got casted for a show and then, like, some of us, maybe me, Ty, Sabrina, we start, watching the show, like, reality dating show. We never watched Ready to Love. I didn't watch Ready to Love before, but she did. She wrote that in her picture that she wrote. She said, I've watched it before. So for her, she knows how you get to the end. You get to the end by having a mass amount of connections. And it doesn't matter if I like them or not, but I'm new to the city and I want to put myself out there. So, this is what I'm going to do. Or she could have just kind of attracted herself to Red because, not for nothing, going back to our last, conversation we were having, Red is a DJ. He's popular. He knows everybody in the city. When you date the DJ, you're popular. Everybody in the city. She could be looking for, that little competition where I'm like the HBIC, Nene Leakes type of vibe. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah,
Not
man,
Coco.
I'm just saying.
I love you, Coco. I love you, girl.
I'm saying.
What do you call me?
That's some straight bull. Tyrone was on some bull, and
I agree.
you being so generous, girl. You are church on Sunday. You giving the grace, honey, because that was some bull. First of all, I've said it. How many seasons I've been saying the same stuff? If you got to diminish another woman to try to make yourself to appear as if you have some value or increase your value, that's some mess right there. You don't have to do that. Y'all, you got to quit justifying unjustifiable behavior. That's just bad. That's horrible. It's not even sportsmanlike. You sitting here, y'all are the top in Dallas. Y'all the top. Y'all got businesses. Y'all got good stuff going on. How you want to sit here and pick apart whether or not somebody's bag is real or fake? First of all, I will tell you myself. My car was stolen in Houston, and I had some designer. And do you think that I want to tote around my designer anymore? No, I don't. I will love me some Fashion Nova all the way up to heaven, honey, because guess what? That was a traumatizing experience for me, and I don't play those little reindeer games anymore. So when you got to break down everything about this woman physically, then you go from physical and you starting to go financial. You trying to discredit her job, her finances, etc. Why don't you just sit there and look like a boss queen, enjoy the ambiance? That's so sexy for men. Y'all know that. Y'all know y'all like when we sitting there being cute, giving y'all some good vibes on y'all too. So no, I will not make it okay that she did that to that woman. That's some bull. Girl, you done made me drop out. You were talking and I was dropping chips out my mouth, girl. I could not believe the foolery.
You know what was
I did say she didn't have to knock a crown, though. I did say she did not have to knock somebody else's crown to make sure hers is still shining bright. I did say that.
And guess what? When you lean over to knock another woman's crown, guess what yours gonna do? Fall off, and all she got to do is tilt hers back up.
I did say that. She's beautiful in her own right. You ain't gotta knock somebody else's crown. I did say that.
I mean, listen, I actually kind of agree with Courtney on this one. Yeah, I think she's a very uber competitive person. Wait, hold on. I'm not saying that what she's doing is right. I will give both sides, but I do believe Janelle is a very competitive person, right? Mm-hmm. I think that she has gone overboard with her competitiveness. And I think it's very, and I always say this, that anybody who comes onto Ready to Love, if you're going to be successful, it's very difficult to be as authentic. And when I say authentic, be unaware that this is not a game. And for those who are, I think I would like to say, some of us who are more aware of the game and, we don't want to be hurt, right? we learn how to navigate that space as a game. So other people are taking it very seriously, maybe trying to be authentic about it. You know, it's love, connections. I can see someone like Janelle being, I'm a realist. This is a game. It's about love, but it's a game. It's a competition. People are going to get eliminated. So as far as I'm concerned, y'all are ops. You know what I mean? And I think that's what then creates the slightly going overboard, right? Because, you know, at points you're doing too much. Now, I don't agree with her ever saying anything about Kira. I didn't like it. I didn't think it's warranted. Her talking about the bags and stuff like that. I think there's a deeper aspect though towards Janelle as well in that aspect. I think for her, I've always said this, that abandonment issue that she mentioned, and I think Courtney kind of touched a little bit on it, and I think to even expound on what she was kind of saying is that I think there's also validity for Janelle to win. It creates that she is worth something. You know what I mean? Like, and so I think her winning Quentin, because right now Quentin seems to be that kind of guy. I mean, until they said he likes a particular type of woman, but he seems to be that kind of guy, right? Then there's Red, and as soon as it mentioned Red, she immediately became territorial. I think when you talk about being territorial, sometimes that often is coming from a place of fear, right? Because what happens is you don't want to feel like you're not special or you're not wanted or being rejected. So the fact that who was it? Tequila kind of said, "Oh, I like Red too." Right, and she immediately shut it down by saying, "Girl," she basically saying, no one cares, baby. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can like what you want, but no one really cares. I think Janelle has a kind of, you know, she has a bit of a bullish personality or a way of going about things. I don't know if I wouldn't go as far as saying bully, but I can see why people say bully. But I'd say she's very bullish. I don't like it the way she does it, and I don't think you need to take anybody down to uplift yourself. I think that's where she's going to fall down in the long run. But I can see that someone in Janelle's head, I can just see her going, this is a game, it's a competition. If you ain't going to play it the way like it's a competition, I'm going to play it like it's a competition, and I'm going to win. And that means at any cost. I'm sure she's very good at her job, but in relationships, doing that can create long-term problems as well. So, yeah, you know.
But Kojo, you know that. Y'all know men don't like all that drama and all that foolishness all the time. Y'all don't like all that energy. Let's be real about it. And two, you said it right, bullish. Bullish, because that's some bull-ish. You said the right word, honey. And let me tell you something else.
I didn't know.
Y'all already know when a lady ends a sentence, all right, sweetie, bye, sweet. Gone with that little girl. We already knew what it was. Those are trigger words. Trigger words for women. You are condescending. You either talking about my body size or my age, or you're trying to cast aspersions on my intelligence. So you ain't, just like y'all men don't like other men sunning you. We don't like nobody, little girl in our grown selves. No, take several seats, because like you said, Kojo, what you said, bull-ish.
Y'all, she watches the show though. That's what I'm saying. She admitted to watching the show before getting on the show, like a faithful fan of the show. Like, I don't know anybody from my season that literally was like a fan. They might have heard about it, might have looked into it, but she's a fan of the show. She knows what it takes to get to the end. She knows what she's doing. She's causing commotion. You know, she's causing commotion. She's walking down the street and she's doing this and that and third, so she can get talked about. The more you get talked about, the longer you stay on the season.
But then that's to, are you here for love or are you here for something else? Now listen, I don't do the lady. I can't wait till the next episode, because like I said, she might do something that warms my heart on the next show. But this one right here, no ma'am.
Can I say something?
Yes.
She didn't have to walk around like she was running things, because all the men were checking for her. I'm sorry. I agree with Stacey. I'm sorry. She was doing too much. Yes, that was bullish, but that, sister, your insecurities are showing. Like, you were all over Red, for God's sakes. And you didn't have to do all of that. You didn't have to do all of that. So you talked about, oh, you got her scent on you too now, and all, and then now you smell like her, and then her bag is fake, but mine's real. You don't have to be that way. If you're secure in yourself, you don't have to act like that. So I agree with Stacey. I think that was too much. And yeah, I think that there is a level of competition. Sure. Everybody got a level of competition when they go into that deliberation and they three guys said Quentin's name. I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting. But you don't have to act like that. Now for Mr. Red, this man, Stacey just said something. Men don't like when you act like that, right? Red was loving it. Red don't get attention like that. I was like, man, so no women flirt with you, and everybody think you got a thought job. Because come on, he was just, oh, well, when both those women said, oh, I'm attracted to Red's who's I'm interested in. This man didn't know what to do. He was flirting with Kira. Then he wanted to make sure and give her all the flirt all the time, and then close it out with Janelle. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna move on because I was triggered by this scene because everything they went through, I went through the same thing. So triggered, honey.
We're having flashbacks. I remember you on that stage. I'm like, did Sabrina just cuss on the stage?
Because they treated me the same way. The only reason Sabrina getting times because she light skinned. I'm like, what? What is my complexion? Had we? Oh, what? I'm so confused. She's talking about she a fashion designer. She wearing She by Sheree. I'm like, what? What? I don't even know y'all women. What are you talking about? Why are y'all talking to me like this? I was so confused. So, yeah.
They hit you with the She by Sheree?
Honey,
they hit me with a lot of the back.
They hit me with a lot of
people in the back.
Like I'm over here minding my little She by Sheree business, okay? And I'm getting torn down. I'm like, and I'm sitting over here like eating my chips, you minding my business. And yeah, so and I got attacked like that almost every time I was in the scene with them, to the point where sometimes they called me to meet the scenes, to be in the scenes, to meet with them women, and I wouldn't even come. I was like, if they're gonna be there, I don't even want to be there because I'm not gonna subject to myself this kind of negativity. This is not what I signed up for. I was like, I'm not even doing nothing to these crazy women. Nah. So yeah, they should absolutely. So yeah, Janelle, I think she's a beautiful woman. I do, but said her bad fake. I'm just saying. But why you have to say anything? Nobody asked you if it was fake. Now it'd be different if he was like, is that bad fake? If Red was like, I wonder. But ain't nobody saying nothing. So validate yourself.
Really?
I'm sorry, Stacey. Go ahead.
But really, a bossed up man will be like, oh, her bag fake. Let me go get one. Keep helping me out, sis. Because when you don't let the Lord sit on your tongue, it come back to bite you. Baby, let me tell you.
I didn't appreciate it. I think that all this going at each other, like P.O. said, like this is supposed to be a show about love. Like, why are we attacking each other? But I've said it from day one. It's like you don't really realize it, but it turns into like Game of Thrones out this joint. Like, why am I fighting for my life here? Why am I fighting for this relationship that I don't even have? To make it to the end, to do what? How much money we winning? Oh, because I get to sit next to Tommy? I'm here for it. I can't wait. That's the prize. Like, come on, people. Like, we all grown adults. Like, it was just so disappointing. And it's even more disappointing to see it again, especially since she didn't watch the other seasons. Anyway, that's all I got.
It's a tough one still.
So,
I mean, listen, I do think, you know, I by the way, I agree with you guys as well about Janelle. I'm just saying, but I think with, you know, I always say that Ready to Love is a very difficult process because human beings naturally want to win. And if you make Ready to Love a game show, it's not a love show, it's a game show, right? Which has winners and losers. And some people are willing to take more of that process as a win and loss situation. As what Ready to Love does actually well is that it exposes how we do under those particular conditions. How do we react? Do you know what I'm saying to you? I've always told everybody, you see this guy on YouTube now, I will be one of the worst candidates on that show because I'm going to play the game, because you ain't going to outdo me. Yeah, I'm not going to let the guys outdo me. I'm not going to let the girls outdo me. But that's to do with how I operate in life. And someone could say that's partly also insecurity. I don't want no one beating me, and I don't want to be embarrassed. So if you're going to embarrass me, I'm going to embarrass you first. I'm going to get in there before you. Now, that's partly insecurity. That's partly obviously things that has to be worked on in terms of how I handle things. So Ready to Love creates pressure that exposes the person under that kind of those particular lights and see what you're going to show. So I think with Janelle, yes, I do believe that the pressure would have exposed her more ruggedy ways of competing with other people. I don't think there's anything wrong with competing. I just think the way she's competing is causing issues in the way that she deals with other women. And I think there's and one thing we don't really talk about, my last point is this. One thing that people don't really mention about this show is dynamics between men and women. One of the dynamics between men and women is that since we have a patriarchy that men are at the top of the mountain, there is something when women are trying to validate themselves based upon being the closest person to the top of the person on the top of that mountain. And if you can get to the person who's at the top of that mountain and you're there with them, that's a huge validation for a lot of people. Now, that may be an insecurity for some people. Maybe it's just life or whatever. But that plays a big role even in Ready to Love. So I think, I don't like what Janelle did again. I'm just saying, but I think I can understand from a competitive standpoint, she's here to destroy. But from a personal relationship standpoint, this ain't going to get you no man. This ain't going to get you no friends. She's going to end up doing herself more destruction than actually any good. And that's where she needs to be aware. You know what I mean? And I'm sure it's going to come out in the next few weeks as well. So we're going to have some more to say about her.
I'll just say one thing about the competition part. Realistically, like, you don't have to be in competition with anybody. At the end of the day, you figured by like episode 6, 7, some of these people are gonna want to not be there, just naturally, right? And then that's when all of the competitive stuff starts to go out the window. Ultimately, though, I feel like, why do you care about what this girl does? Why do you care about if her purse is real or not? Why do you care about that? The way that she looks or her age or whatever. Why do you care? Get your dude and go home. Period. That's it. That's it.
I was gonna say something, so my bad. It might be because her dude smells like Kira. She said it, right? Those are her words, not mine. I'll be kind of upset too.
Well,
I wouldn't hate though.
Well, then she was contradicting herself because only expensive stuff is transferable. Only expensive sense is transferable like that. Let's keep it 100.
Does anybody have anything else to say about?
We need a happier topic. I mean, every scene, I'm getting depressed over here.
You know what? And this is only episode 2.
My goodness,
Love it.
Me too. In real life, I love it. I'm here for it.
Where's the love?
I don't know, but it ain't on this episode. Goodness gracious. All right, golly. All right. So next scene, we have Habibi and Sierra. They have a date. Habibi starts by acknowledging Sierra's nails. Ooh, girl, you do your nails yourself? She was like, no. He was like, you better have paid for them because can't no girl show up here without her nails did. You know what I'm saying? Without her nails did. Okay? Because we don't do that over here. She was like, oh, okay. And it's a problem. Yeah. He asked her, he says, who do you like the most here? Like, you like me the most, or you like another guy the most? Like, I just need to know, like, who you like the most, you know? So she like, well, I'm just trying to, I just need to see like what you about, like what's, what I'm saying? I just need to I need more. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember that time with me and my mama, what I'm saying? We was I've been eating crawfish since I was 4 years old. You know what I'm saying? Because I was tired of waiting on my mama. My mama had 10 crawfish and I had only had 2. So I was like, I can't wait for my mama. I'm gonna teach myself. He was like, oh, your mama ain't ish. She was like, hold on, what you say about Miss Leslie? End recap.
Sabrina, your take was kind of funny. Habibi's take was demeaning. He talked to you. He said, well, I'm critical of women, and if you show up with your nails not done or whatever, what are we doing? The way he's saying it had a lot of ick on it. It was a problem. It was definitely a problem, and you can tell that he doesn't have respect for women just by the way he speaks, and just the fact that, again, we go back to the read the room. You don't know that lady enough to talk about her mama, but again, even people don't like you talking about their mama. That mama is that saint, So regardless of what she is and what she ain't, to say somebody's mama ain't ish. And again, you don't know her. I mean, like I said, it's just he has a disregard for everything that's not him. So I'm gonna let y'all have it. I'm sure someone in there get some more stuff out of it.
I could tell you this right away. Like right away, I was off put. Just simply, first off, this is so much with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell somebody what they need to do when in order to sit at the table with you. First off, who are you, right? And why is it a requirement that they have to meet some sort of, I don't know, standard that you have already out there prefab? But that's one thing. The part that just killed me was when he said your mom ain't Jack-ish. Like, that's how you could like get a jaw break quick. Like, it depending on who's sitting across from you, it could be an instantaneous reaction. Like those words come out your mouth and then in your mouth goes a fist. So you don't really know like how people put their moms on pedestals, right? And we know that relationships in terms of just natural relationships, the bond between a mother and a child, a parent and mom and a child, is way different than a man and a child. We know this. So you don't know what type of suffering her mom went through to put the clothes on her back, what type of suffering she had to endure just to make ends meet or to keep the lights on. You don't know what the story is behind her mother. And she's not even present, and you're going to disrespect her in front of her own daughter. Like, this is probably, I would say, her largest cheerleader or whatever. Like, come on, man. Like, just as a man, we're like, I just can't. I can't. But I'll say this. That dude is the prime example of what I tell my daughters to stay away from. You see them, don't bring that home, because I'm gonna do something to them.
Yeah.
The end.
Yeah.
Who got next?
Who's got next? Who's up? Everybody's disgusted.
I mean, I was trying to find something halfway decent to say. I guess this is just an example of how, you can talk yourself out of a good thing. It seems like Sierra was possibly going to hear him out, possibly give him a chance, but, he just took it way too far. And now it got to a point where it's just, unreasonable. It's unforgivable at this point. And for her to even continue with him after him saying something like that would actually look bad on her. So he actually let it get it to a point of, no return for the other person. So You know, like I said earlier, like I don't even know if he understands, you know, what he's saying and what it really means.
I think that what he said was absolutely crazy. Like she had every right to be pissed off about that because that was completely out of line. On the other hand, it makes me kind of cringe because he's so immature. Like if we really think about it, like he's just like he gives like little bro vibes, like, you know, just says things for attention, does things for attention, wants to make people laugh. Like he thinks it's funny, it's obviously not. Like he's just immature. Like his whole mental is just immature. And thinking about like Krishan and Blueface, y'all know that little crazy relationship that you see all over the blogs. Some women like immature. Maybe it's been working for women for him in the past, but when you get on a show like Ready to Love and you got some grown women that are here to love, they're not dealing with that. So you gotta go get them girls down the street that think that shit's funny, but it's not funny over here. We don't play that. So I don't know. That's just my opinion.
You know what? Oh,
I just want to add just one quick blurb in there. We can all take and just give thanks for the fact that this show lasts about 11, 12 episodes, maybe. So by episode 6 or 7, we won't be talking about this man ever again, and we will forget all about him. That's it.
you know what, Paul? Well, all of y'all, you know, honestly, if I can look at it from a different angle, because I know Ty was trying to find some kind of grace somewhere, it's giving me, like, you know, when people don't have the emotional intelligence to code change, like, for example, I just saw this morning on IG where one of those internet girls was in the UK saying some really obscene stuff. No decorum, no nothing. It was really just off-putting, right? And this is what is, on one hand, I'm grossed out, right? And on the other hand, I'm like, what was your life like? Who were the people that are a part of your life? How did you grow up? What was your support system like? Because we know, a lot of people know when to turn stuff on and when to turn things off. Like we know, like when you go to school, you got to clean it up. We know when we right here on the YouTube streets, we try to clean up how we talk a little bit so good sister Sabrina can stay monetized. Like we know how to code change. So if I can look at it from a different place than the other and not, you know, he's being dragged. So there's enough people saying a lot. But if I can give y'all a different perspective, it would be, what did he go through where he is seeking, saying provocative things for attention? What is it within him that he is seeking these, you know, saying whatever just to get a little attention and affection?
I think it actually has to do a little bit of what you just said, Stacey, but what Courtney said too is like he's so young, and I guess maybe he's been doing this for a long time. Like what you just said and what Kojo said earlier is that he doesn't know how to code switch. He doesn't know how to read the room and change up when he needs to. But at the same time, if you know you're just joking or you're mixing being a jokester, or you think that was a joke, but that was just crass and inappropriate and rude, talking about this woman's mama like that. Like you didn't wake up in her bed last night. That's not okay. But for him to think, oh, I was just joking. No, you weren't just joking. And he walked away thinking that, oh, I don't know how that went left. I don't know how that went wrong so fast. I definitely think there's something there that's just a little immature and doesn't know how to code switch. But he can't just keep trying to learn on this show with with these women. That's not going to help him at all. That was, And then I actually missed that was, I guess this was the third time he did the hand thing. You know, once, okay, you doing that. Okay, that's funny. But 3 times, what do you, he's got a lot to learn. And that's a lot of therapy.
Hey, Crystal,
He
what
keeps
hand
kissing his
thing?
own hand. He's shaking a woman's hand and he turns the hand to kiss his own hand.
Some women like that.
And
Just not these
So,
women.
okay, Courtney, I'm so sorry. Courtney, going back to what you just said, I think that's why Sabrina did give him the second chance. She's like, you know what? He's funny. I'm not sure. Let me go out on a date with him. Let me just see. Maybe I'm misunderstanding. And she said that into ITM. Maybe I'm misunderstanding him. So she gives him the shot, goes on the date, and then he says that about Miss Leslie. No, you're not gonna get away with that.
But didn't he have a weird interaction with her prior?
And that's what she just was second guessing her first intuition. Some women are like, you know what? I'm not, you know what? Maybe I'm misunderstanding. Let me try. And she even said at the table, I want to get to know you better. Or she said something like that. And he changed it and started being crass again. I want to know more about you or something.
Yeah. She said, I want you to be more serious.
Okay.
Okay. I like that.
And it's Sierra, because Crystal was like, because when Sabrina gave him another chance, I was like,
I'm so sorry.
Give him the first chance. Okay. I mean, I think this scene obviously, again, just encapsulates what I was saying about Habib. I think I do think he's emotionally immature. You know what I mean, right? He's not regulating himself very well. He doesn't realize. I think the problem with also Habib is his delivery is. You ever seen it? You've ever heard a bad comedian before? Bad comedians don't tell bad jokes. They have bad delivery. You know what I mean? It's the delivery that sells the joke. You know what I mean? So whenever you're gonna make a joke, your delivery has to be on point. It's almost like when a guy delivers a chat line to a girl. 2 guys can drop the same chat line, but the delivery is what sells it to the person. Him saying that your mama ain't is a delivery. It's one. It's very risky content to start going down. Number one, and if you're gonna do it, you need to sell it well, right? And if you haven't got the if you haven't got the tools in your arsenal to do it, you need to leave that alone. I don't think he has the tools in his arsenal to actually do these kind of jokes and so edgy but behavior that he keeps doing. I think that he puts themselves in these precarious positions because the delivery is so blunt. And that's the issue. It's so blunt. I almost to a point I almost started asking my question, is he on the spec? Because I was like, the way you're not deeping social environment it's caused me to think whether you on spec, because it's for most of us, it's like that is something that you would either say, I'm not gonna say, or you're gonna make sure if I'm gonna say I have to make sure I'm gonna deliver this correctly. You would, and if it went wrong, you'd be like, you know what? I know how it went wrong. My bad. It didn't come out the right way. You know what I mean? Most of us will probably avoid saying that if we don't really know you that well. But if I know you, then I can make that kind of joke with you. Do you know what I mean? Because then I know you, and I know your family. I know you very quite well. So yeah, I think from him in that situation. Now I'm concerned about this hand kissing stuff. Yeah, for me personally. At first I said it might be just really arrogant, prideful behavior. Now I'm considering if he's on the spec, because I'm starting to really ask that question, because it's really out there, but it's odd. So it's not. It's when you see somebody who is out there, but you can see the thought process. This is conscious behavior, but this one I'm looking at and I'm going, it doesn't look conscious. It looks a bit like all his behavior seemed to. I'm trying to do something, like almost it's premeditated but without any natural instinct to it, and it's given, you know what I mean? So I'm looking at it and I'm going, I'm not trying to give him a pass. I'm asking the question. I'm not really saying he is. It could be he's just really a douchebag. He really could just be a douchebag. But yeah, just some of the behavior is not quite right in that instance. So yeah, just my thoughts on Habib in that situation.
So does he kiss like this because that's his culture, or Like, because I know like some women like are completely clothed. Like, is he not allowed to touch women or kiss women or hug women? I mean, I don't know, or his religion or what he practices.
There's no PDA in Dubai, so I'm not sure what this means to him. You know, by kissing himself, maybe he's not crossing that line. I don't know.
Oh.
Not crossing that line, but he telling Janelle he going to. I can't even repeat it. I mean, it's so ridiculous. Crossing the line. Habibi doesn't have any lines.
I'm just so confused. I'm just trying to have it make sense. I just got questions.
Well, I Googled it, and yeah, holding hands, hugging, and stuff in public in Dubai is socially unacceptable. If you get caught doing those things, you can end up in jail. However, you know, at the same time, I think part of trying to engage in a relationship and getting to know people is, you know, like where you don't only just like embrace the you, like you're open and acceptant of them. And I can tell you from what I gathered, Sierra is from Louisiana. I'm telling you, our mamas don't play that. I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all, cause Mama D, she don't play that either. And I know that socially, you know, people joke around, you ain't ish, you ain't ish. I know we do that, but then again, that's that decorum, that emotional maturity, that sensitivity to others and what they might feel. That's when that part has to click in. You know what I mean?
Does anybody got anything else to say about Habibi?
Y'all, do we know for sure that he is Muslim? I thought that this was just something that a culture thing that he just liked. I don't think that I think he's appropriating the culture. I don't think that I think he's from Texas.
Yeah, let's get him off the screen.
Yeah, I don't think this isn't part of his culture. If it is, and I've said this before, then okay, but I don't think so.
From what he said, you know, it occurred very similar to what J-Dub did tonight. He saw it, he liked it, he said he liked it, and kept it as his thing.
From the
airport. I mean, that's about all we know, right?
He didn't convert. None of that. Oh.
Yeah.
So now we done talking about. I'm tired. Anybody got anything else to say about Habibi? Okay, moving. Oh, what you got?
Who, Stacy?
Oh, I thought somebody said something.
No, I said he's capped.
Yes, and that's how
we're going way too deep. We're going way too deep.
That's how we're going to end the scene.
Yep.
So during the time, we're flipping back and forth between the scenes, and we have Lee and Quentin. They have a date, and she pretty much, I mean, it's a good date. Y'all know I really, really like Lee. I really like Quentin. I kind of want to see like where it's going to go. And she pretty much does ask him, I don't know if y'all want to like touch on this a little bit, but she asked him like, you know, like we pretty much in the same profession, you know what I'm saying? Like we hot, like our bodies look amazing, and we post it on social media. And sometimes, you know what I'm saying, my social media get a little bit of attention, and you know, I just want to know like how you feel about it. So, in recap.
Well,
so
I
she
thought
got
that was a valid question.
That's just me being funny, Lee. That's me being funny.
Yeah, like I said, I thought it was a valid question because yes, all men aren't. You know how we have to name it. If we have to let men massage on our women and go to sex dungeons, we're not emotionally secure. You know. But again, so we clear. I live in the 80s and the 90s, and I don't want to leave there. And you know that's where I live at. And we had some things that was you can hold on to. This new world does any and everything that they want and can totally justify it. So I thought it was, again, a valid question, because some men don't like that. Maybe say, hey, I have an issue if you go to the Usher show with, with your backside out. Hey, it doesn't mean I'm insecure. I just prefer my woman not to do that. I want you to have a good time, But I thought, just going back, I'm getting way off track here, but getting back to the couple, I think they should just go ahead and lock in. And normally I don't agree with locking in on Ready to Love, but they are so similar, like their lifestyles. When we talking about they're into health and fitness as their profession. They don't have any children. They have longevity running through their families. Like they have examples of 30, 40, 50 years of marriage on both sides. I just think they should just, like I said, just go ahead and make the pact. If one of them got to go, they should leave with each other. So I'm done.
All right. So we almost made it through a whole episode without me saying production, right? But I'm going to say this. The reason why they won't make it together is because they're too similar, right? And they line up too good. And production has to wrench that a little bit. So they have to create the turmoil in there and throw in these different variables. They can't let it be natural. So I promise you, there's going to be a rocky road for those two down the line. They may find themselves somewhere again, but like I said, it will be it'll be induced by producers that they probably just won't last very long as a couple. That's it.
That's
God
that.
damn.
Anybody got Kojo? What you got?
Paul saying on episode 2 that shit ain't working. Damn.
Right. I'm like, dang. Tell us how you really feel.
On this scene, I was a little bit confused because I feel like I remember him saying she's a little bit older, but I've dated older. But I thought they were closer to the same age. Y'all know that age difference? How old is
10 years.
The bodybuilder is
He's 33.
Quentin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a 10-year difference.
From him and Aries, but not from him and the last date. What was her name?
Lee.
Lee.
Oh. I thought it was 10 years. Oh, so it wasn't? My bad.
He and Aries. That's what I was going to ask you.
Baby, let me tell you something. Because Aries, baby, let me tell you about that skin glowing. I wouldn't have known. Play with it.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
I wouldn't know because I couldn't, in my brain, I was like, who he's saying is older than him? Because these women looking good. Like,
I'm tripping. Lee was 34. My bad, y'all.
Right.
And then Aries is 40.
43. And what's his name? Quentin is 33. So going to Paul's question, production, you're saying that there's going to be something to trip them up. What did you think about the interaction with Aries and Quentin? Because that was the get together beforehand, and they were flirting and everything.
Right. And I think he's going to be a hot topic this season. I think that production is going to, get the work out of him, right? They're going to put him around and put him in different situations. That's going to probably, instill some sort of drama between the women. And I think that, that's what's going to derail, him and Lee.
But is it me? Okay, I'm going to say this. Every time I see him, he gives Calfani on the last resort, the Houston before mine. Like he gives Calfani to me, and it's hard for me to, you know what I mean? Because I'm seeing it. I'm like, oh, like this. I hope it's not the same playbook. I mean, if I'm listening to Paul's take on things. And I'm deducing stuff. I'm like, okay, I hope this ain't something like that again.
Look, Paul be knowing, right? I'm off sometimes, but I'm telling you, I be reading that stuff, man. It just be that intuition. You know, it seemed like I might be in there with the editors, but you know,
I'll tell you what I'm seeing. I feel like a lot of them got their first choice of dates early, and they really got a chance to see if it was going to work or not. I'm also starting to see like there are some connections brewing early with people that have obvious matches with each other. I feel like in the end, the thing that may trip him up is the fact that he could see that Aries is a good woman. But this is just my opinion. I feel like in the end, he most likely won't be able to pull the trigger on a relationship, right? Because Lee got a lot of numbers, and that's not easy to take for a lot of men. You know, she got a lot of numbers on the gram. You know, he likes her. He made it clear, you know, from day one. I was anxious to see where that was going, but I believe in her confessional, she mentioned she was feeling Marie too, and you know that kind of threw me off for a bit. But
Why that
you
throw you
know,
off?
it is what it is, huh?
Why that throw you off,
I
Ty?
forgot Maria was there.
Say that again.
Why did that throw you off?
I didn't see any
Mhm.
evidence of them chatting it up or liking each other or feeling each other.
Oh,
You
that
know,
reason why.
yeah. Yeah, man. You try to be funny, man, but I got all the clips. I got all the clips. I've been seeing them. I tell you who got the most clips, who been with who, all that.
I'm not saying anything, bro.
just
Go ahead.
one quick programming note. Just want to let everybody know I'm going to be checking out here a little bit early today. You know, I know Ty and J Dub, you know, you'll probably miss that camaraderie and me disagreeing with y'all all day, but you know, there's always next week. But 100 sightings, you know what it is. I'm about to get out of here, but I'm gonna listen to y'all on the YouTube side, and I'll probably, you know, be typing in there. So
Hold up, PO. You never leave early.
I
You
know.
got a dime shorty over there.
No,
Let's
I
go.
got to go pick up the kid from the airport.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just check. You always stay late, so
Yeah, I know. You know what I'm
I had
saying?
to check
Yeah.
on you. If you
Yeah.
had that dime shorty over there. So,
Nah, ain't no dime shorty over here today, man. You know what I mean?
And you know you can't leave. And look, you know you can't leave without me saying it. Look at that man, good daddy, 850 credit score. I can smell you all the way down here in this Houston heat. Oh, we need you to come walk through these streets because it's funky.
Right on. All right, y'all.
all right.
All right, I'll see y'all, man. Good night to you, folks. All right, good peoples.
See ya, PO. Thank you.
Did anybody talk about the lady? Which one of them ladies said that wasn't it this episode where she said he don't like black women?
That was
I didn't hear him say it.
That was Kira.
Kira.
What? Okay. Help me remember. Kira is the cheerleader. Is that the cheerleader?
White boots.
Okay. How y'all feel about that?
It felt like that's how rumors get started / witch hunt. Because I didn't hear him say it, and you know that's a strong charge to put on him. Meaning like he's just exclusively or isolating. He just wants snow bunnies, but they had no proof.
So
Yeah.
they went to the replay of him on day one, where it was Tequila that asked him if he was feeling anybody, and he said,
no.
honestly, I'm not feeling anybody right now.
Right.
And to me, it just seemed like he was just trying to be non-committal because it's day one.
Right.
But if y'all
but he didn't want to just say her. He didn't want to say, you know, I'm not feeling you.
Right.
You know, but there's definitely people he's feeling. Go ahead.
Go for it, Sabrina.
If y'all hear him like right before it cuts scene, you hear him say, "It's just too soon."
Yeah. We played it back on Kojo's show, and she said, "Are you feeling me?" And he said, "I'm not feeling anyone yet." And I think he did say it's too soon right after that, right after he said yet.
Right.
And she didn't like that. And so and then also I saw somewhere that they saw on his phone a picture of him with his clients who happened to be white. So they just ran with that. Girl.
Like his refrigerator?
That's so crazy. No, because he's a trainer. Because he's a trainer, so I think that his social media is built around what he does.
Yeah.
Courtney, Coco, you been quiet. I don't know if you working, you clocking in, you doing 3 things at a time.
Listen. I'm gonna say this. I think he did the right choice by answering to Quilla's option, because you're not going to tell anybody on the first day it's not you. You're just not going to do that on day one. Maybe as time goes on, you start building that slight friendship, situationship, whatever y'all got going on. You start to get to know each other. You might say, okay, this is where I'm going to tell you it's not you. But like in the beginning on day one, you're not going to tell somebody that. If a guy came up to me and I wasn't interested, I might just be like, yeah, I'm still, playing the field, just like trying to meet everyone, trying to feel people out. I would have given a similar answer. I'm not going to tell anybody that. And then on top of that, as far as white girls goes, I don't like that rumor at all. Like, it was a definite assumption to say that he likes white girls. Then I think I forgot her name, the cheerleader, Dallas cheerleader, she goes and says, if anybody would know, I would know, or something like that. It's just assumptions. It really is. I think it's silly. I don't know. I don't like it.
I didn't like any of that. I'm with you. I didn't like any of it, because like I didn't even like the part where it's like, if anyone should know, it would be me. Like I didn't, because I'm just like, we just women. Like we don't need to make it like, right. We don't need to make it like, I just won't.
No, but I'm saying, what was her point in saying if anybody would know, it would be me? What does that mean?
She said personality.
She said personality
wise. Yeah.
I just cannot
based off of her being around a whole bunch of white cheerleaders, predominantly white cheerleaders, like based off of what? Like that's such a rude thing to say. And I'm just like, that's not even fair to say. Like it's not fair to just be discounting our white counterparts either. Like that's not fair either. Like that's just uncouth. Like that comment was on the level of what Janelle was saying. You know what I mean? But instead of directing it towards another woman, you're directing it towards a guy, because you already trying to get people to view him with some sense of prejudice based on what you assume he prefers. So, all right, everybody, I don't like him, so y'all take him out y'all tops too.
So I don't know if y'all follow him on Instagram really quick. I follow him, and he posted something on his story the other day. I think it was on Friday evening or Saturday, something like that. It was after the episode aired, and it was something to the effect of, I'm a black man that dates a black woman that wants to have a black baby in a black house. Like he was basically kind of going back towards the episode, and it was like a meme or something like that, but it was him saying like, I'm a black man that dates black women. Like, let's dead that right now. And he posted that on his story. So if I can find it, I promise I would show it to y'all, but it was literally Friday, Saturday. If he's going as far to say that, he's not dating white women. No man that is about black women, is pro black women, all of that, is going to sit there and post that, but really date white women. He's not going to play with people like that. He's just not.
But I agree with Stacey. I think that that's exactly what it was. It was he doesn't like me, so let me try to get all the other ladies not to like him. Let me, throw him under the bus. Let me throw some jabs at him. Let me really cut him deep like that. And it worked because he put that meme up on social media. But also going back to what Ty said about Aries, I love her response. Like, I'm one of the most chocolate women in here, and I did not get that at all from him.
I love she
That's
said
fair.
that.
Right.
I love she said that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to open it up and say, I've been a contrarian all night, and I'm going to continue. First and foremost, I said on my channel, he didn't have to necessarily say he's not feeling anybody. I think he could have just said, I'm feeling a one or two people, but don't worry about that. You know what I mean? Maybe that would have been a smart answer from my perspective. Doesn't mean necessarily it is. But then I think, obviously, I understand what I think sometimes there is conversations that happen which on an internet spectrum cannot be had in its full entirety. Because the reality of the conversation is, in realness, it happens. For instance, we do understand what Kira meant. I don't think we can pretend as if we don't know what when someone says you're behaving like in UK we say someone's behaving like a bounty. What it means is you're black outside, but you have a lot of characteristics or behaviors that are aligned with race when it comes to someone being black, but someone being white. We have these conversations in our circles as black people all the time, and we know exactly what it means. It means how adjacent and how aligned are you to certain things that quote unquote become stereotypically black and some of our behaviors. Now, no one's a monolith, and being black is not a monolith, and I totally understand. But in reality, we do have these conversations, and we do judge people when we're making our choices about partners when it comes to how we're culturally aligned. You know what I mean? Right? So it's almost like it's like we can't have the conversation, but we have to have the conversation. It's like someone's black and votes for Trump. You tell me you're not gonna have an issue? Some of you are gonna have an issue. You'd say, well, I appreciate the fact you have your own choice, but I'm gonna judge you for it. We have these conversations, and they're not necessarily always had on the net because it can be very difficult to have them. But in real life, we make these judgments. So when Kira's saying, I'm the closest thing to being white, I knew exactly what she meant. My behaviors, the things that I like, the things that I do are more aligned, quote unquote, with somebody saying as a white woman, you know what I mean? Or, culturally aligned in that respect. So what she's saying is if Quentin likes a white girl, which I don't necessarily think he does per se, then she would be the closest thing to that. So, I know people don't like talking about it, but the reality is you talk about it. We do it all the time. When you're dating, you do. You know what I mean? Because you have to be culturally aligned when you're dating somebody. So, they're of course moving parts and moving departments in all of us. Some of us have different things that we like, etc., that go into different cultures. But I think that there's a real conversation that is to be had there. Now, I don't know if he likes white women per se. I mean, Tequila was adamant that it was Latina women. So as for me, I've learned very well. I'm going to hold my judgment on saying that this guy definitely likes black women because I've been defending some of these men before and they've let me down flabbergastingly big time. So I'm going to hold a neutral position and wait a little bit longer, wait for him to come out and then see what he say. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to be jumping on and defending a brother and then he come out and you find out that ain't the truth. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's my perspective as a contrarian tonight.
And that's fair, and I totally understand what you're saying. I think we're all saying the same thing. Like we all get what she meant from that, but I just still don't like it. Period. I don't like what any of them said about it. Like it was no reason to bring that up or to say like, oh well, I'm the closest thing to it, because then the argument could be like then. Well, somebody can go out of the ladies' lounge and repeat that, and then the men can take it as, oh, well, that's the kind of guys that she might need to date or that she might like. Because if that's your proximity,
there's no winners or losers in this. Unfortunately, it's being said in the lounge, and I think that's the biggest issue.
I feel like I feel like that. Okay, first of all, we know it was a very coded message that she was putting out there. And I feel like in the same way that you just said that can be held against you and make it look like to these handsome Black men that maybe they can take it the same way.
I mean, listen, I get it. Listen, I talk with this particular accent, and I can get called. Well, you might be a little bit more white adjacent. It happens. People make judgments, and I think the biggest issue is that it's been spoken about on TV on a lounge. That's the issue. But these conversations happen, and that's why for me, it's like I don't want to make it as if like it's the most crazy thing that the woman did. It's not, because we all have these conversations. Brother was like, "Yo, brother, I think she's cool, but you know what? The way that she moves, I see how she moves in a particular culture. I don't look when I want to date somebody, I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm judging this. If I see that you have far more white friends, we probably might not have the same things in common. I'm going to talk to you, but we might not have the same things in common, because the way that I live my life and the way you live your life, we have two different ways to see things. I don't want to pretend and be like, well, just because you're Black, I'm going to be okay with it. No, within that, there is culture. There is underneath those things. Even as a Ghanaian, marrying another Ghanaian, marrying somebody who's born in Ghana is even different to somebody who's born in UK and then Ghanaian. So naturally, there are going to be these differences. And I think it's touchy because we said he's Black, but he's white. That he likes white women. That's where it's touchy. It's whenever it's Black and white people, it always becomes touchy. But I think there is a real conversation when it comes to dating that you are going to consider the culture of the person. You know what I mean? Like so maybe it's it being said on a lounge and being said in public. That's where the issue is. But in reality, I'm a real truth. It does happen. You know what I mean? So we do that.
Another question would be, what did Quentin do or say that made her feel like he dates white women? Where'd she get that from? How did the topic even start? What happened behind the scenes or on camera? Y'all, the cast members of Ready to Love, we know we'd be sitting there 6-8 hours and you guys only see 60 seconds to 120 seconds. So what happened in those other 6 or 7 hours that didn't make it to film this early on episode 2 that made you feel, because you know white people that much, girl, what did he do that made it seem like he dates white women? I'm curious.
She kind of said it. She was like, well, because he and I had a talk.
But what was the talk? What did he say? That's what I'm asking. What did he say?
Oh, she said that he likes Latina women.
I think it was personality-wise, and then Tequila co-signed.
Y'all talking about two, but these are two different people are making this statement. So y'all are saying that one, to my understanding, I didn't see Tequila say this at all. I just heard people mention it. So on one hand, you're saying Tequila said that he dates Latino women. Then on the other conversation we have, what's her name? Kelsey?
Kira brought it up. I don't remember the reason aside from the personality.
Kira saying that this is who he dates. So she's saying this is who he dates. Was it based on something or based on how he acts? Because she said that's her proximity. Like that, I know this type of people, this entire racial group. I know them better than anyone else here.
I think she was just kind of talking about her feelings, because she said she got the feeling Red may be from the streets, and then Tequila co-signed by saying he wasn't feeling any of the beautiful Black women in the room. Mm-hmm. And that's all they really had to go off of.
Mm-hmm. Until Lee was like, well, he's feeling me, and I'm the chocolatest one up in the joint.
I don't know nothing about the Latinas unless I was talking around.
I just wish, like, for me to give like proper, like a proper, I don't know, opinion of this. I would have rather, like on all the other seasons, mad stuff was caught off camera. Y'all know in all our sidebars, conversations, there's cameras rolling. We can hear it all. So for me, like, so far, episode 1 and episode 2, it's like extra things being said, but I need to I need to see it or hear part of the conversation or something. Like, and to be fair, like, I'm not gonna discount what someone heard or what they feel either. I didn't personally like what you said, but I wasn't there, so I don't know what your experience with this person was, with Quinn was. But for me, I just feel like, where's all the extras that we've gotten these past couple seasons, where we have a little more insight as viewers, where we can formulate this. Like right now, it's a lot of he say, she say, and judgments being made based off of that.
Where did y'all hear he dates Latinas? Is that what?
That's
Someone in the chat just said that.
Tequila said on the interview with Crystal.
Okay. So we have to wait for.
I'm not saying she's right, by the way. I'm just saying I'm holding my reserved judgments of saying I'm defending him or I'm going to be against it. I'm just saying I'm just reserving that right now. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go full gun ho defending him because I've been there and done lost out. So I'm going to hold my judgment and hold the line and be like, I'm open to whatever. Let's see what happens in the coming few weeks and see what he does. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with him having a preference for anybody, any other woman, and saying I'm open to black women. I don't think there's a problem with that. If he genuinely is open to that, that's up to him. It might not be his first preference, but he's open to it. I personally think that's cool. That's you. You know what I mean? Like if you're open to it genuinely.
I guess because, all right, on Sabrina's season, Sabrina, Courtney, Ty, on y'all season, we heard a lot. You know, we heard y'all was a voiceover. We heard like all kind of commentary to fill in the blanks. So I'm just like missing some. I guess for me, I guess that's what it is. I guess that's my only issue here.
That's fair. Ain't easy out here, baby, in these streets.
Maybe he likes a very specific black woman. I don't know.
Maybe.
I'm just saying, like, he could like a very specific black woman. I like a very specific black man. So, you know, I like him a little chocolate, you know, like a little chocolatier. So he could be looking for a very specific black woman on that show that he might like. Just saying.
Meanwhile, while y'all talking about what somebody saying, somebody liking Latino women, and my daughter just brought me some chamoy candy she made for me. She wanted me to tell y'all she dropped me off some goodies and she made it herself.
What goodies?
We're cultured in this household. We got a proximity to everybody. Play with it. We well-rounded.
So how y'all feel about this incident with Tequila? God dang it, I can't get her name.
We need a pin it.
That's her name.
Tequila. Man, I'm sorry, Kojo. I just want to apologize.
Yo, we're in this together. Don't worry about it, Sabrina. We're in this together. I'll be killing people's names.
I just want to apologize. All right. And oh God, Janelle, their interaction, they was about to fight. I think this was the first time I ever really seen it go this deep. Production had to step in, pull them apart. And she made the comment, here we go, about yep, she made the comment about the only reason that they even like you is because of your skin color. So let's go ahead and tackle that and how they kind of responded to each other and the things that they said to each other. And yeah, let's just go ahead and dive into it. I mean, I don't even feel right like saying it, but y'all know what happened. Like, how y'all feel about it?
How I feel about it. Tequila was on that tequila, like she was gone. But you know, in a lot of shows we get the colorism thing. That seed has been planted a long time ago. That's a whole nother panel discussion. You know, it's an ongoing thing. I don't think it'll ever end. But for me, I know everybody, they liking the toxicity. But again, hey, call me, I don't know. call me a hopeless romantic. I'm looking for some love. I'm looking for some connections. That's what I'm here for. But we're getting further and further away. You know, I want to see him go back to the old ways. So yeah, we're gonna get a little drama, but now it's just like Mean Girls. We fighting and it's just off. We here for something else now, and it's just it's getting ugly. So I'm gonna let y'all dive deeper.
I think personally, obviously, I watched that interview with Crystal, and Crystal actually asked her what she saw to bring to that conclusion. It was lacking evidence.
What was it? I missed
She said
that.
plan to do.
I missed that. So what she said about that?
Without going too long, because obviously, but she basically was saying that, you know, she had that Janelle was getting away with murder when it came to production. In terms of some of the behaviors that she was doing, she felt like she wouldn't be able to do that and get away with it, etc., etc. She felt like Janelle was doing things off camera, etc. There wasn't much evidence of being able to establish this line of thinking about colorism. And the reason why I say that is because when she starts talking about explaining it to Crystal, she's saying there's things that happen that you guys haven't seen yet. Baby girl, it's only been a second episode when you said this, which means how are you establishing colorism before you've seen all the extra behaviors that Janelle's about to do? Do you get what I'm saying to you? So I'm not saying that she's wrong. She could be right. Hey, shoot. You know, you could be right. And I'm not going to jump all the way in and say right or wrong. But what I'm saying is I'm being very careful, because sometimes we also talk about, and I've been stalked on my channel for saying this before, we talk about often about colorism, but we don't talk about the fact that in reverse, some people are bitter. And because someone is light-skinned, they go the opposite way and become the bully of that person. So as far as I'm seeing, the evidence-wise, and based on what she even reported, I ain't really seen evidence for what she had, for why she said what she said to Janelle. From what it sounded like, it's almost as if you felt like you feel insecurity. From what it sounded like, you sound like you're coming from an insecurity. You're seeing Janelle kind of being taken by all the men are liking her, etc., etc. Not even realizing Janelle's got her own problems, but you know, you see that all the men kind of liking Janelle, and then you're putting it down to the fact that she's lighter skin toned, and that's why the men are liking her and of quote unquote getting away with certain things when it comes to production as such, right? And so rather than looking at it as, hold on, Tequila, look at yourself and look at the behaviors you're purporting. Are your behaviors becoming of somebody who are the men not actually wanting, right? The first thing she's done is project outward rather than look inward about what she may be doing that's also causing issues in terms of how she's being perceived by the men. And so for me, my last point on this, and I'll pass it up, I felt like that comment came out of hurt, and you were angry at the fact that, and by the way, Janelle was wrong in what she was saying, you know, saying that nobody wants you. By her saying nobody wants you and nobody likes you, whatever, that might have triggered Tequila. And the reason why I say that is because when I heard her on the interview, she almost makes excuses by saying, "I could have said da 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 da." When people say, "I could have said much worse," or "I could have said this," it tells me that, sis, you know you're in the wrong, and you know that you got a foul mouth, and you could go further. Which means that you're not really sorry about what you said. You kind of just said it in the heat of a moment to try and jab at her as well. And I think your insecurities might have been playing, but I'm not going to rule out what you're saying about colorism. I'm going to keep myself open, but it does feel a little bit like you were jumping the gun, because we've only had 2 episodes when you said that comment. You didn't say this in episode 8. You said it's in episode 2.
Well, do you think, okay, based on that, and thank you, Kojo, because I didn't see it yet, so I didn't know. But is she like, maybe it's like, did she mean pretty girl privilege at that moment? Because a lot of the guys from, you know, were really attracted to her. So was that what we were talking about? And not necessarily the right label at that moment? I'm confused. I'm in confusion.
For those who don't know what pretty girl privilege is, it just means you're pretty. Period. Pretty girl privilege, because I know some people are going to ask. I literally had this conversation the other day. Pretty girl privilege is you are pretty, period. Like, that's, I agree with you, Stacey. I feel like it was more so pretty girl privilege. You know, I don't see I don't see it in episode 2. We literally shot episode 2 in the same week, y'all. Like episode 1 was in the same 7-day period as episode 2, and you probably only saw the cast members once on arrival day for the 12 hours that you were there on the first day. And then the second time you probably saw them like at a brunch, which was episode 2. So if in 48 to 72 hours, you already feel like there is a colorism issue, that screams to me a bigger problem, like a way bigger problem.
It was definitely the very next day. I think, was there a comment when they were asking the guys who they were feeling? And I believe it might have been Mario. Was it Mario or someone else who, and correct me if I'm wrong, he didn't know her name, but did he say like the light-skinned one or something like that? And then someone else had to say the name to remind him. I could be wrong, but maybe that. I can't speak too much on the colorism thing. Like I was trying to figure out exactly why they were saying the things that they were saying. If you watch it, the video is just choppy. The cutaways are choppy. You'll see that there's some staff already in the room before the fight even breaks out. You know, there's people already in the room. And then when they cut away, some people are on the other side of the room. So just in that split second, it's too much that could have happened. It's too much that they cut out. And only thing that we're hearing is just responses to things that were said, you know, and not exactly like a back and forth so we can get the full discourse, right? So we're just guessing off of, you know, the things that we're seeing that production put together. So it was really difficult for me to piece that together, but that's all I got from it. It's just a lot of cutaways, production in there real quick. Sierra getting the room warm. You know, I felt like they were warming us up for that because Tequila's first words were, you know, if they like drama, if it's about drama, they'll like it here, right? Those are the very first things that she said in her confession. So if y'all remember day one. So I don't know, maybe that was part of it.
I agree with Kojo that light skin comment had she just said that because she had nothing else to say. It didn't come from anything that that Janelle had been saying for a substantial amount of time or anything like that. Although I believe that Janelle has been throwing some jabs.
Absolutely.
I believe that Janelle has been handing it to. Absolutely. I also think this poor girl, you are going hard for a guy that you just met, to your guys' words, less than a week ago. And these were their only 2 connections, and she's going hard for this guy. I said, this is a trigger. This is not something that's been brewing this week. Like when she's like, oh, I'm really about that life. And Janelle said, are we standing up? And Tyrone, you're right. That's when people started. They were people already in the room. There's production in the room. But then he said, oh, we're standing up. Somebody was on Janelle, like standing next to Janelle. Like there were already people in the room. Like this was not just a regular back and forth between these 2 ladies. Somebody was next to Tequila. They were already starting to pull them apart. And then it just got worse and worse and worse. So this was something deep. This was like this girl, she wasn't even there. I'm like, she was in her face, and it was a lot very quickly. It was just a lot very quickly. And I do appreciate, speaking of Aries, and she did not turn around. The girl next to her, Tyrone, you're right. The girl next to, I don't remember who was standing next to her. Jessica, standing back, looking at them pulling Tequila. Aries like, no, we ain't doing that. We're just gonna look forward and not doing it.
Did she really think she was?
She ain't about that drama neither.
But she must have done something or said something because she said you can get it too.
Right. And I said, did they pull that out?
I think that I'm gonna tell you. So I did a panel on Saturday, and Marvin was there. And I want to say that, if I'm not mistaken, so I'm not trying to misquote him, but I want to say that he said Jessica and Janelle are like two peas in a pod. Something to that effect. So maybe they're close.
Mm-hmm.
So that may have been why she lashed out at her too. But I just think it's so uncouth to always attack people on like physical things, because that is beyond our control. People can't control their level of melanin. They can't control their level of attractiveness. I mean, we gotta. I for one, I would never show my hand like that. Number one, and number two, I'm gonna come. Y'all know I'm a Virgo, so y'all know I got a Rolodex. So I'm gonna come with some substance, and I think that's a big thing of why I was just so like, oh, you right, Aries, clutching all the pearls, baby. Because if you know me, I clutch them.
No, at the end of the day, it was embarrassing, and it was sad to see these Black women fighting. That was it for me.
Well, I've been saying since the beginning of episode 1 that we don't know what Tequila is going through with them. Like, it's not but so much how you can go just keep poking the bear. You're gonna keep poking the bear. The same reason why I snapped at the reunion, because you're not gonna keep messing with me and think I'm not gonna say nothing back to you. Like, you can't do that. And then you want to sit and laugh in my face and in my face off camera. So then you want to come on camera and act like you are pristine and you all, come on now. No, that's not what we're not going to do. We're not going to do that. And then you want to sit and lie and just keep lying in my face. And then you treat me like trash behind the stage. No, you don't know what she's going through. I'm not saying now how she responded. I'm not excusing that at all. Like, how she responded was ridiculous. I don't appreciate it. I don't think she should have did that. But we don't know what that girl has been going through. We don't know what her triggers are. We don't know what her illnesses are. We don't know what her issues are. We don't know what her past was. We just don't know. Now, the stuff that came out her mouth was not cool. But her being upset like that, we just don't know what was going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, we know from being behind the scenes that it's always something more. And I don't know why. I don't know why I am. And maybe I'll say it, and maybe Kojo, it'll come back to bite me. And J-Dub, I will or will not apologize later. But it's something about Tequila that I know this was a bad look. This entire the defensiveness and the defense of people. It's something about her still that I'm hanging on to, where I'm like, oh, okay, like, we still got to give her a chance, because it's something about her I do like and I enjoy seeing. So I think she's a gorgeous woman.
I think they
I just beautiful. To know, yeah, but I think like in this moment, it needs to be said that she specifically is a gorgeous woman. And I'm sure she has a lot going for her. And I will be interested to know like more of the big picture.
Yeah. And plus you don't know.
And I haven't seen anything extra. I haven't seen any extra social media. I haven't seen any extra interviews about it. So this is all I can say at this moment.
Hey, Marcia.
I think she just don't like her and wants her gone. We touched on it earlier when we mentioned, Janelle trying to bring someone down. And it started, when Tommy finally went off and asked, like, who would do something like that, and they could have just left it at that, and been done with it. But Janelle was like, they tops, and everybody knows who she's referring to, especially when it comes to Habibi and whoever's tops for Habibi. So, you know, and even at the end, you can hear Janelle say, you know, try to call shots and say, you know, you need to get her out of here. She needs to be gone. Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
I have a question. No, I have a question for Tyrone and it's J Dubs. And did you remember when Tequila said to Janelle, when Janelle said, you know, this is what Habiza said to me, and that's why I want him out of here and all of these things. He said, Tequila said, it's the energy you give him. And that really rubbed me wrong, because I'm like, let's play devil's advocate. Even if he did rub you the wrong, or even if I gave him negative energy, he still should not be talking to me like that. So I just feel like, you know, yes, Tequila, we should be, you know, I'm glad she's on here. She's a beautiful woman and all these things, but Courtney said earlier, like she's not reading the triggers. She's not not reading the triggers. I'm sorry. She's not, you know, he's not a good person, but she's just really vying for this guy. Do you remember her saying that is the energy you give him?
Yeah, I remember that, but I also took it as Tequila's way of bringing Janelle down and saying Janelle's not a good person, you know, and basically saying, hey, it's what you're giving off.
Yeah.
Yeah. The way I see it, yeah, everybody has a different view on people's personalities or miscues or whatever, but I don't come from that perspective. Just because someone is beautiful, they have successful businesses and they got a lot going on, if you act ugly, you should be held accountable for it. None of that stuff matters. So yeah, they donate money to the children for Christmas time and all that. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the ugliness that you're displaying. You know, that's all I'm going on. And it was ugly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Kojo, did you speak on this?
What the situation with Janelle and
Tequila? The I guess fight that they almost got into.
I mean, listen, look, I get it. I mean, I can understand where Tequila's coming from, and I can understand where Janelle's coming from. You know what I mean? If you stand up, that's fight and talk. I don't care what I said to you. You stand up, that's fight and talk. Now the jabs going between the two of them, I do understand as well that how much can you take before you're willing to, you know, you had enough and you want to stand up for yourself and you want to let the person know enough is enough. And so I got both their perspectives. Now Janelle, we know, has been doing little jibber jabs here and there with the ladies. So, you know, this has probably got to a point where it's just like enough's enough, you know, for Tequila. And actually on her interview with Crystal, she said obviously that there were other jabs that were being made. It was consistent, not just Janelle. Actually, Janelle was joined by Jessica in that situation, that they were both kind of being a little bit cheeky in the lounge, especially with her as well. That's how she felt. So I can also understand that perspective in terms of why Tequila you know, went at them eventually, you know, and you know, stood up for herself in that sense. I think it had been a long time coming. Like Ty had said, the people that were there were in the room already. That's madness. I've never seen that. I don't think I've ever seen that in an RTL show. It's been 8 seasons or 9 seasons, whatever. I've never seen production ready at the go. Not reunion, not normal the show. Like, it is weird to see them already primed and ready in position to be there, which tells me that this is actually much worse than we're actually seeing on our screen, because y'all are ready. So there's obviously there's been some behavior that have been happening before we got what we got as an edit cut on the floor, and there's been some madness. So yeah, I think as we see the season progress, we're probably going to see a lot more of them fleshing out that story between Tequila and Janelle. But definitely, it must have been really bad if the production team are on the floor. So yeah.
Absolutely, Kojo, because we're on episode 2 and we have already broken through the third wall, because we never see production faces and their bodies in a scene like that. So we're on E2, and the third wall has been broken down.
That just means that they were going at it for a while and they were already in place just in case something was going to happen. That's all that was. Courtney, you were about to say something, but did you speak yet?
No, I did, but I'm just, y'all, this is, I think coming from a cast standpoint, I'm trying to emphasize this. They have been filming no more than 48 to 72 hours at this point.
Exactly.
Like, we literally, I'm going to tell y'all, Tyrone, Sabrina, right? We all filmed on the same season. We did the first episode on what, a Saturday?
Day one, yeah.
Day one
brunch.
was on Saturday. Hold on. I'm gonna paint the picture for the viewers. We did day one, which is the first interaction that we all come out and see each other on a Saturday. Can I tell y'all when we filmed episode 2? Does anybody want to take a guess? On Sunday, y'all. On Sunday. You mean to tell me y'all met on a Saturday and started beefing on a Sunday? Ain't nobody in the world gonna get that up off me. There's no way I can give you that much power to get me this irate in 48 hours. Like, there's something wrong with me that I've given you that much opening into my mental for you to get a rise out of me. Ain't no way in hell. I'm sorry. Couldn't be me. Find somebody else.
Cece, even more than that, think about when the first lounge is filmed. So we go Saturday, then we got the brunch on Sunday. We saw a couple of dates. So this is only like maybe like a Wednesday that we're filming the lounge. And it's that much.
So I thought
of maybe 4 days, and you're not even around these people every day. Now you might be around them 14 hours one day, another 8 hours on Sunday, and then Aries just confirmed it on Wednesday. On Thursday, I said Wednesday. So we're talking about 4 days later, and in between those 4 days, 4 days, you may or may not have even seen this person. So what impact, like what vibes were you giving, were you receiving in these maybe total of 48 hours of being around a person that y'all are already about to fight?
Can I add something to what Courtney just said? Just real deep this, as Coach Kojo would say, deep this. So you fighting for a man and saying to everybody else, if you eliminate him, eliminate me too on Thursday? 4 days later?
Honey, I would have been like,
it makes no sense to me.
Listen, I know everybody's a little confused about the chronological order of what you guys see on TV, but please understand that during filming, because y'all see dates in between episodes, don't watch that at all.
8-9 dates already.
Yeah.
Even if I'm talking on the phone to a man, never mind.
Yeah, and talking.
Don't watch the chronological order of what y'all see. Everyone keeps saying there was many dates that happened before that. Like, they can take something that happened last Thursday and make it on episode 1. Like,
we just have to explain that to them, because there's a lot of people out here that really don't know that. You know what I mean? And yeah, it just has to be explained, and that's just what it is.
I have a thought.
Oh God!
Oh,
here we go, Ty.
Did you say Ty? Did you say thought or thought? You got a thought or a thought? Let us know.
I have a thought. Maybe it's some team building that started already. We've already some team building starting already
off camera.
Since we've already seen Kira and Tequila have some like-minded thoughts. And maybe Kira is already on charge, because Kira is like, girl, she been on me this whole date. You know what I mean? With the comments and the slick talk in the mouth. And maybe Tequila's like, all right, if she come out the mouth, I'm going to say something.
Because I'm about that life.
It's just a thought. Just a thought. And then, they mentioned Janelle being friends with Jessica. Jessica must have did something or said something which is why Tequila was like, and you can get it too. And then it just kind of turning into a 2-on-2 situation right now.
Mm-hmm.
Just a thought, though. Just a thought.
Another thought. Do y'all think that Habiba played the saxophone for Tequila?
I don't even think he can play no damn saxophone at this point.
You know,
No, I think he can. He can.
I'm
play.
just joking. I'm just
Oh,
joking.
I'm like, I can. What's crazy is that this is Dallas, but I see him in Houston. I've seen a lot of stuff in Houston with him on it, and I've never seen him in my life.
I mean, I think there's probably a lot more conversations going. I feel like they both understand that they were on the bottom anyway. So she's probably like, if he get voted off, why should I stay if I was on the bottom, on day one? Most people can't fight through that, Shout out to Sharice.
I probably need to watch the interview again with Tequila, but she ain't really give a good excuse as to why she said that she needed to leave with him. Let me just be real with it. We don't need to see 100 different dates. That girl has to be honest with herself. When you start fighting a fight for other people, especially in this capacity, right? I think there are multiple things with Tequila, what I'm seeing. I can see that, she's probably a person that wants to defend people. And, she felt maybe Habiba was getting ganged up on by some of the ladies. But it was also further enhanced by the fact that those people who actually were doing it, she might not have a good relationship with. And that also then further enhances you wanting to defend Habib, who, again, and this is something that I think ladies should be very, very aware of, okay? Us man them are very much aware that women like to make themselves special. And what I mean by that is, if they feel that they can change you and they get responsibility and credit for changing you, they like to stick at it. Not all women, some women. There's a particular type of women. When you don't have your esteem and your worth intact and it's not very high, there is a validation that comes through changing a man or seeing the best in him when he really is trash, right? So he's showing you absolutely trash qualities, but you are trying to see the best in him because really it's not about him. It's about you. It's about you wanting other people to see that goodness in you, and you're trying to purport that onto him. Right. And so with Tequila trying to say she's going to leave, if he leaves, baby girl, it's giving ride or die. And ride or die energy is never a positive connotation when it comes to relationships. It really isn't. Right. It sounds great, but the person always dies. Right. So you don't want to be a ride or die. Right. And if I'm a man, I don't put my woman as a ride or die. I don't want you to be in that position. you know what I'm saying? So but I think with Tequila, I think she has to be very honest with herself. There are parts of her esteem and self-worth that are causing her to see Habib in a particular way, hence why she riled up the way she riled up with Janelle. It wasn't just Janelle, and it wasn't just Janelle questioning her or firing shots at her or insulting her. It was also the fact that she was defending someone else so vehemently and so fiercely. And that, for me, tells me that Tequila might not have been covered herself in her younger days. And that's why she's been such a fighter for other people. You know what I mean? But now you need to look at who am I fighting for and what reason it be. So whilst she's looking at Habib, she hasn't seen, she has, but she's ignoring some of those red flags. And now look what situation you're in. Right now, look at the situation. You're now in a fight with Janelle, which, of course, you might have had an argument with her anyway because of the way she was commenting. But you're fighting on behalf of something that doesn't need to be fought for. You're going to turn around and come around realizing in a few weeks' time, this guy don't even like you, maybe. He might not even want you. And you'd have wasted all your energy and your time and your resources into fighting someone else. And then you're going to turn around and you're going to find yourself being bitter and resentful, thinking that, you know what, and I said this before, the evidence was actually the first episode when she broke down, when she thought that, why was she going to last? Now, she explained it on her interview and said, because it was a long day and, out of 140 people, no, baby girl, let's keep it real. The real truth of it is, and I'm not saying that it doesn't hurt to not be chosen, is that there was a rejection in that moment. And it really cut deep because that rejection wasn't just talking about today, it was talking about what you've experienced. And the two, the past and the present, linked up, and it became very painful and overwhelming and took you to a place where you broke down and cried tears. That's when Habib saw you at that moment. And that's where he caught you. And that's why I said Habib is a hunter, because he saw that and he went for you at that point. Right. So, you know, I just want her to be aware that there's nothing wrong with being somebody who's a protector and you're fiercely wanting to protect what you love and what you care for. Just got to be very, very careful. You're not protecting absolute rubbish and nonsense, because now you find yourself back in the same position, one, which is unprotected, because Habibi ain't going to be there at the end. He going to leave you. Okay. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on that situation.
But I feel like somebody in the chat just said, did anyone mention Janelle told Tequila, ain't nobody want you? I missed that comment. And Sabrina, I had a question. So just because we were talking about this so at length, if you are Ty, do y'all have any stills from the lounge when all this was going down at like the faces? Because I'm interested to see
all of them,
like how everybody was looking when this went down. I just want to see like facial reactions, like, yeah, she right, or what the hell is going on? Like I need a reminder right now. I'm sorry. And also, I just want y'all to know, I want y'all to give J-Dub some grace because he's joining us. I know they're having a power outage, and so his dedication is coming from the car. So if y'all can give our good brother J-Dub a little grace for being here with us and offering his good words too.
Okay, I appreciate that, Stacy B. I'm going to sign off for the whole car just cut off and break down. You know, I don't have no more emergency power, computer about to die, light went out, all that. So, you know, that's a good time to sign off. I appreciate all of y'all. And again, I'm you know, I do this for y'all. So I'm gonna go in the pitch dark house. So I appreciate y'all. And have a good night.
But he still got them chains on. We can't see you too well, but we can see that glisten from them chains. 3 chains.
It's 5. It's still capped. Let me take it off. Yeah, phone. So I can go there. Yeah.
But they still making heavy. But they still making that heavy noise like it's real.
Thank you, J-Dub, for joining us tonight. We appreciate it.
All right, signing off. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
All right.
Sabrina, in that still, you can see somebody tending to Lee. So you know they was in there for a while.
Oh, yeah.
They've been going at it for a little bit now.
Absolutely.
And
but
I
that's
know we see some familiar faces too. And if they get in it, then, you know.
Yeah.
It's deep.
All right, guys. Oh God, y'all want to give y'all's last thoughts on this episode? Golly.
Wait, before we go,
okay.
Can y'all put the reactions of the other ladies up?
That's what I was saying.
There was no reactions.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There was no reaction.
I feel like when I was watching it, and I can't say
I just saw a lot of people just kind of sit there.
Like, I feel like, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm saying this just based off my memory, because I felt like the way the ladies were looking was like shocked but not surprised, and that's the only reason why I said that, because I feel like everybody was like,
yeah, because it had probably been going on for a whole 45 minutes or so. Or it's probably been going on the dates, the group dates. When we not backstage, you know, when we in our little room waiting. And yeah, like, think about it. Think about all that time that we have with each other, not on camera. Think about it. We spend more time with each other off camera than we do on camera. I'm telling you, that's where I cussed one of them out behind the scenes. Yeah. Like, who you talking to? stop. Like, you gotta go do that. Because we've been sitting there waiting for 2 hours to film. You know what I'm
For the
saying?
confessionals, they'd have all the ladies in one room and all the guys in another room. And I would be like, I don't even like them. You know, it's day 3, day 4.
Well, you remember for
Yeah.
our confessionals now, we were on a time slot confessional. So I saw some people, but I didn't see other people. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like when we were going in doing our confessionals, and maybe that was production. Where Paul at? Oh, maybe that was production. But I remember for our confessionals, I saw whoever I was meant to see before I had to make my statements. You know what I mean?
But sometimes you could do the math, and whoever ain't there is probably on a date today. Because we was all going to the same place.
Right.
All the time.
All right. Y'all's final thoughts on, because it's we're hitting the 3-hour mark. Final thoughts on this episode, and then let everybody know where they can find you on the socials. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And tell them who you are, where you're from, if you're single, if you're not, if you're looking, if you're dating. No, I'm just joking. Don't do that one. All right, Tyrone, work around.
Tyrone Wilson, Ready to Love DC. I did put a review out today. I did locate the new guy for next week. He's in 3 shots. There's a new guy next week. There's a new woman next week. The new guy, you can see him plain as day. I want to know what y'all think. I think there's still potential for them to have some good relationships that come out of this. Hopefully at the end, at a minimum, they can still be cool. They can still be friends. I think quite a few fellas is going to drop the ball. I hate to say it, but I think they're going to drop the ball. And, you know, it happened last season. It's going to probably happen this season too. So, oof. All right. And the eyes are the windows to the soul. For all who glance in shall see your truths.
Oh.
That's all I got. That was my very first Instagram post.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Wow.
No, I need a signature sign off. That was nice.
Right.
Langston Todd thought Hughes Wilson.
Wow. Crystal.
Crystal Annette on Instagram. Thank you another round for putting my my link to YouTube in the chat. I really appreciate it. I've got a lot of things coming, so please subscribe. And Kojo, are you going to announce the world tour? No?
A world tour?
Oh,
anyway, I'll say when it's my turn.
Okay. So
it's your turn.
It's your turn.
Oh God.
Sorry, it's my turn. My bad. Okay, yes. Hey guys, listen, Little Black Book 91. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on TikTok if you like dancing, Black Muscle 91. If you can find me on Threads as well as Black Muscle. No, sorry, as Little Black Book 91 as well. Yeah, listen, great show as well. Thank you, Sabrina, for this hosting the space. I get to be my unsolicited self on this channel, so thank God for that. Yeah, no. Guys, I will be in America as well. So if you're around, I'm going to be in ATL from the 24th to the 28th of July. I'm going to be in DC from the 28th to the 4th, and then I'll be in Houston from the 4th to the 9th. So I'm looking to have a bit of carnage. That's fun. Nothing else is fun. Just have a bit of fun, you know. And so I know I'm going to meet a few people out there as well. So I'll try and keep you guys up to date if I'm doing anything. I really don't want to do anything, if I'm honest with you. I just want to party. I don't want to have to think about hosting anything, trying to have a talk. I love you guys, but I talk enough. I want to relax. Okay, I want to wind my butt off. Okay, yeah. So appreciate you.
See you out
Stacey
there,
B.
Okay, so as the person that talks over people, I'm going to talk over some of these comments and respond on behalf of good guy Ty. To my understanding, he's spangling in a dollar bill, ladies. And like I said last week, our DMs are open until about October the 15th because we want to bring somebody home for Thanksgiving, which we'll put on Ty's channel. Look at
We
me
should do
over promising stuff.
We should do a group Thanksgiving, all of us, and we should do like a smorgasbord, and we all like make a dish, and then we all come together.
Let me know where y'all want to be because you know I don't like to drive. So if me and these kids can fly somewhere, we'd be flunked out. But I just gotta let y'all know me and Ty's cutoff date is October the 15th for our open DMs. We like that better than the dating apps because DMs are better. But I'm Stacy_B on Instagram because y'all know my mind be going in all different kind of places. So I got to streamline stuff. I had such a great time tonight, Sabrina. But as y'all know, it's only episode 2, and I done clutched my pearls so hard they broken, baby. So y'all just continue to pray for me. Y'all just continue to pray for me right now because this is a lot for me, and I'm really trying here. I'm really trying with all of this here. I can't even bring statistics because all of this stuff is unfounded. We're in uncharted territory right now.
Right. We are not in our lane. Yes.
Yes. And shout out to the proximity to whatever, because like I said, baby girl, she came back and she was like, "Mommy, did you tell me I made you the chamoy candy?" So my baby girl made chamoy bags. You know, it's like a spicy Kool-Aid pickle, but candy. If you get what I'm saying. Because you know how Kool-Aid pickles are sweet, but it's like a sweet and a spicy, you know, with a little tahini. Because, you know, this is a little tahini because I'm over here in Houston. So y'all know what it is. So we got a proximity to everybody because we don't discriminate over here at all. And I will go ahead and say, since sis wanted to say that tonight, I just want to say we always like stigmatize our Black men for dating outside the box and coloring outside the line. And it's totally okay for Black women to do the same. Because if you can't find what you're getting or what you're used to, hey, do something different. It might not bite you.
That part.
Oh, Sabrina, wait. I think no, only because I'm thoughting it right now. I think Cece's computer died, so we didn't say bye to her. So before you go, can you let us know about Cece, like where they can find her? And we are so happy she was here tonight.
So what I'm going to say with that is a shout out to another round. It's my soulmate. That's my girl. That's my sis. She's also part of the panel as well, but unfortunately she had to work tonight, so she couldn't be here with us. But you can check her out on Kojo's panel from last night. Now, oh, there she goes. She's actually in the chat posting all of our Instagrams and our YouTube channels. So definitely just go back to the chat. She just recently posted them. She's posting everyone's, like it's J Dubs, Courtney's, PO's, the ones that's not here right now. So definitely go back and follow actually all of us. And tonight was a really, really special night because with all of us that have YouTube channels, we were all streaming from our own channel tonight. So you guys probably saw me putting like a lot of the comments, not even on my chat, like in others' chats from others' channels, like Crystal's channel and Tyrone's channel and Kojo's channel. So I was putting those comments and stuff on the screen. So just to say that if you are on their page viewing from their channel, make sure you click that thumbs up for them. Okay. We all love to support each other. So this was a fun thing. Literally, we were streaming from Crystal's page, Tyrone's page, Kojo's page, my page, it's J Dub's page. So definitely, and if you are new here on any of the pages and channels, definitely don't forget to subscribe to our channels and just support, because that's what we do here in our little YouTube circle. We try to, you know, support each other. We have mad love for each other. And I just want to say I appreciate you guys. Absolutely. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with us tonight. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you decided to hang with us reviewing this episode. I don't know. Do y'all like, are y'all glad that we have reviewed? Like, I think I'm glad. I don't know. Because next week I might have people. I don't know. Because I'm feeling, anyway, love y'all. Bye.
Baby, I'm here for my